Hello. Can you guys hear me? We should be live now. We should be live. Please let me know if we are live. I think we are. This feels wrong without music. Let me put some music on first. Okay, this should do, hopefully. Hello, hello. Okay, I see you guys can hear me. Caught me off guard. Sorry about that. Hello, the ending part will be Satori's most favorite. We are not live. We should be, though. Can you increase the mic volume? I probably could, but now I should be closer to the microphone, so let me know if it's still needed or not. I don't think that you will agree with all the rankings, but I like the video a lot. I'll get into that very, very soon, but first I want to make sure everything is good. So, you guys can hear me, let me know if you can hear me well. And then I'm gonna play a section of the video and let me know if it's actually like a similar volume to me, if it needs to be louder, lower, if I need to be louder. So just real quick, I'm gonna play a section and then to test, and then you guys can give me feedback, please.
Dragon level monsters are considered to be the strongest monsters in the series, with the exception of the...
Can you guys hear everything fine? Like, are the volumes good between me and the video? Finally another stream, I'm hyped. Glad to hear you. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear you too. Where are you? You are late. Hello? Okay, mic is fine. Okay. Okay, Kryptonite Gamer, you were scaring me, because I thought I wasn't live. I thought it was another situation where my microphone wasn't working for some reason. It's good, loud and clear, okay. Good, good. Sub Banana Slayer 666. Mike, Crux, I painted this, Chris, Linecorn, Cons. I can't say everybody's names, but I'm happy to have you all here. Talking over the vid right now. Not right now, but yeah. Hello Satori, hello Savior Jogston. I'm sorry for not pronouncing that correctly. The sound from the video is louder than you, but it should be fine. Let me see if I can up my volume a little bit. It's already set to full though. I can up it actually. Okay, let me know if this is better. I have it by half a decibel. So let me know if this is better or worse. Yasin, hello, hello. So a quick backstory. Technically, I have already seen this video once. Sorry for that. I have already seen it, so I do know the rankings for the most part. Unfortunately. But yeah. I had a lot of things to say about the things in the video, so yeah, that's why we're doing this, because this is a topic I've been interested in for a while. I wanted to do a dragon, not ranking, but like exploration into what threat level dragon is for a while now, and this is a very good chance for that. But yeah, this is gonna be a commentary stream. I asked Yasin beforehand, and he said it's all good, I can do that, so... Sorry about bursting your bubbles, but yeah, I have seen it once. I promise I can do more reactions of videos I haven't seen yet. So, pre-watcher. Look, I didn't think of that for the first few minutes of the video, for the first half of the video, and then afterwards I was like, okay, I might as well just finish it now and then do a commentary later. Imagine pre-watching. I didn't know it was such a big deal. This is more so a commentary. It's not like a full reaction stream, so sorry about that if that's a disappointment. But yeah, really excited to you reacting to number 1, but it's fine. That one was very, very fun to look at and see. I won't spoil for anyone who hasn't seen the video yet, but honestly, you should check out the video first. I mean, I'm not the one who made it. You should definitely check out the original video after or before this stream. So, yep. Also, I'm on a guest account right now, so that's why I'm not subscribed to Yasin. Please go subscribe to him. I am subscribed on my main channel, just to clarify that. But yeah, I think we can probably start without any further ado. I pre-watched this too. Okay, so again, sorry if that's a disappointment, but yeah, we can get into it. Yasin's editing skills are pretty much unmatched. Yeah, this is... Dude. The editing from Yasin is always spectacular. He even did a little segment of a what if of mine very recently for Garo glowing. That looks sick. Like, Yasin, thank you so much for that. That looks awesome. Did you watch Mashal, Magic and Muscle? No, I have not watched that. I have a feeling this might be one of those videos where they actually have Orochi right behind Boros in power, even though he's kind of fodder. Oh, Orochi is not fodder, personally. I don't think he is, but okay, we can get into it right now. I imagine, yeah, he is on. I honestly don't remember a bunch of the placements, the specific ones. I just remember the ones that I had the most to say about, so yeah, this is gonna be pretty fun anyway. Yeah, we can get into it.
Dragon level monsters are considered to be the strongest monsters in the series, with the exception of the god level threat category that should only be theoretical since it was never said or implied that a god level threat has ever appeared, which is only a possibility based on rumors and speculations, not something entirely confirmed. With this, the dragon's most...
Which is kinda BS, to be honest, cause Boros wiping out at least the surface of the planet has to be god level, wiping out humanity. He fits the criteria, but yeah, also I'll be pausing quite a lot, so sorry about that. but yeah, like Yasin's right, it's never been officially confirmed, but the fact that it's never been officially confirmed that anybody is god level is kind of nonsensical, unless I actually do have a way to make it make sense. So to be a threat to humanity, you have to be able to overcome humanity's greatest protectors, right? So you could say that so far there's never been anybody who can just straight up kill Tatsumaki and Blast and whatnot, and Saitama specifically. So technically, if nobody can kill Saitama, no one is god level, right? Because Saitama can always protect humanity, therefore no one is a threat to humanity. Technically, you could say that, but yeah. That is a way that I view it to make it make sense. Right. By the way, I cannot see chat when I'm reacting, so sorry. I'm gonna check out chat real quick and then get back to the video. I tried to get it on my phone, but for some reason it's not showing chat on my phone. Even though I would really like to. Oh, okay. There we go. I can see it now. Orochi's fodder compared to Boros, not fodder himself, yeah. Yo, Eternal Flame, hello. Saitama, the unintentional gatekeeper of humanity, for sure. For sure he is. What type of what if are you going to make next? Still Boros, but yeah. Also, I'm gonna put it on 1.5, or 1.25 for the beginning sections. And then I'll slow it down when we get to like the more important rankings or like the ones that I have the most to say about.
Mostly are what the world is afraid of. These monsters are considered to be a threat to multiple cities and can even give the strongest heroes a run for their money. So in this video, we are going to rank every single dragon level monster from weakest to strongest. However, before we start this video, it's very important to note a few details that must be taken in consideration before scaling these characters. The first one being that matchups matter in One Punch Man. This was highlighted by Phoenix Man in chapter 84, where he states that even though Silver Fang is remarkably strong, he can only exert his martial art's potential against opponents of a similar size. Gero also takes full advantage of this by choosing good matchups for Kadres to easily defeat the heroes, with Atomic Samurai versus Black Ass serving as a clear proof for Phoenix Man's statement. Reasons this is very important is because there are a lot of factors that could play a major role in a fight. Either a character is too durable, too fast, heals in a quick rate, has a great damage potency, too big, or possesses a certain ability or hacks that would counter specific characters. So if character A is placed above someone he may not have the ability to defeat, which is character B, it would only be because A can generally win against a lot of characters that B would struggle with. Second thing, this list would only be...
Yeah, that's fair. Because, like Yasin said, we have many examples of matchups mattering. Of course, it doesn't matter if the gap in stats is too large. Because, like, if Atomic could just, like, completely incinerate a Black Ass with the sheer power of his slash, like, say Saitama could with a punch, then that matchup wouldn't matter. But yeah, like, overall, definitely, matchups do matter. Also, immediately when the matchups matter thing came up, I knew it was gonna be about Elder Centipede mostly, because it's just sort of the kind of monster Elder Centipede is. Like, matchups are brought up a lot with him specifically. So, yeah. It's just a little note, but yeah. We'll get to more interesting stuff when we actually get to the rankings. That's when I actually have stuff to say.
Be composed of confirmed dragon level monsters either by the author, the manga, or by the databook. So characters like Ocean Natural Water, Garu, Evil Eye, Sage Centipede, and potentially maybe Monster Haragiri would not be included in this video. And last thing I want to say before starting, since as I stated before that matchups matter, this list can change drastically in the future. It's very important to know that I'm not claiming that this list is 100% factual. I'll only be providing my reasoning behind every selection and try to explain with the best of my abilities. Most characters here are very ambiguous, so if you have a list that is different than mine, it's totally fine. So with that being said, let's just get on with the video.
Wait, hold on. Who was Gum Stronger then? Golden Ass. Okay. Yep. I mean, that one might be a little bit of a stretch, but obviously that's the point, to make it funny. Who do you think is stronger, Saitama and Metro Man? Probably Saitama. Metro Man hasn't really shown any power to compete with Saitama, I think. But yep.
Totally fine. So with that being said, let's just get on with the video.
Yep, subscribe to Yasin. He's definitely very cool. Honestly,
now starting off this list with
the main One Punch Man YouTuber that I mostly watch, alongside like Professor Fiction and Mr. Perfect Cell, I suppose. So those would be like the main 3 One Punch Man YouTubers that I consistently watch. Also, somebody asked me where I scale Boros. There is going to be a video on that pretty soon.
With characters that I personally believe they cannot be ranked or quantified. Yeah. These characters are Kinsin Rat, Pluton, and Wither Sprout, nothing to scale them from due to how fast they got defeated by either a much superior force or Saitama. The giant meteor also confirmed to destroy City Z and damage nearby cities is very weird to place, since if you take the definition of the dragon level threat, this should be placed very high on this list, but given it's not a creature and basically is just a large rock that would serve its purpose for one single time, I can't really place it against combatants who by the very least can run from it. Yes, I know, this meteor should be placed below someone like Goketsu, since Genos thinks that that monster is the same tier as Saitama, who destroyed that meteor, alongside with Genos' Incinerate shifting Psycho Orochi's beam that was stated capable of destroying a large meteor. But as I said, I can't really place it against conscious combatants. With that being said, starting off this list,
yeah, the funny thing is I've seen people actually rank the meteor in their tier lists in the past, and it's always so funny. Like, there's nothing really wrong with it, like, as a one-time thing, but, like, it's just so funny to see, like, yeah, there's Goketsu, there's Bang, and then there's this rock in the tier list. It's always funny to see that. Is the vid sped up? Yeah, a little bit, but I'll slow it down when we get to stuff that I actually have a lot to say about. Sage the Fraud is Tiger. Yes, sir.
In D tier, at number 28 and 27, we've got the Forest King and Bakuzan. The Forest King was literally one-shotted by Lightning Court Genos, and Bakuzan was humiliated by a fellow dragon level monster. Although these two characters can be placed higher than this, since the former, being a tree, is supposed to be weak to someone who can produce that much firepower, and the latter was humbled by a monster that can arguably replicate that same feat against many others. So these two are basically unquantifiable, and putting them at any place in the low tier should be fine. At number 26, we've got Gums. Gums in...
Yeah, I mean, nothing really to say there. There is one way to somewhat upscale Bakuzan, but it's gonna be later in the video when that is relevant. I will bring that up. Gums eats Golden S. Yep. And we know Golden S is not immune to Gums' corrosive acid specifically, so yeah, it definitely does work. Now, Gums, for sure, is the bottom. Like, okay, Tank Top Master can hold back his bite strength twice, and yeah, he struggles, but it's still nothing like... If you get held up by Tank Top Master, the guy who got beat up by Human Goro, and the guy who also Human Goro compared to Genos, like he said, oh, this guy's as strong as Tank Top Master, and Genos was landing direct blows on Goro, and Goro was just taking them. So we just get this like Human Goro level character somehow holding back a cadre, which is so weird to me. Like, I'm not sure, like maybe Tank Top Master just got a massive buff from his fight with Goro to the Monster Association arc, but I don't know, it's so weird to me that Gums is even a cadre at all. Like, he seems like he'd be, like, very, very low dragon. Like, he is very low dragon. I don't know why he's a cadre, though. Because cadres are, like, every single one, other than Gums, well, maybe Neon too, has ridiculously higher scaling than a lot of other dragons, but then this one just, nope, he's just the weakest dragon. Or one of the weakest.
In terms of cadre placement, should be the weakest for the lack of any concrete showings. The best he really could do is hold off Big God, failed to bite Tank Top Master, and got heavily damaged by Ugly Führer's redirected punch. So other than that, he hasn't shown anything remarkable that should place him above the next characters. At number 25, we've got Neon.
You know what's also funny? Sorry to pause, but like, we already talked about how Human Goro, the one that fought Genos and Tank Top Master in Season 2, that one should be able to hold Gums' bite strength back a little bit. And then we have a much stronger Goro struggling with damaging Bug God and Royal Ripper. So those two demons unironically have higher scaling than Gums for some reason. And it is so weird. Like why is Gums a cadre? Not gonna lie, I'd have Gums above Neon. I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't disagree. Would disagree. I'd probably have Forest King a bunch higher, but alright. I mean, technically, he did do better against Tank Top Master than Gums, because like he beat him almost instantly, whereas Gums actually just kind of was struggling. So like, you know, maybe we could rank Forest King above Gums. I think Gums might be just the rock bottom, actually. You're definitely the weakest cadre ever. Gums should be demon level threat? Perhaps. You said you made multiple videos on building a character to beat Cosmic Goro like 2 years ago, but I only found one. That's because some of them were unlisted. I see Neon, low dragon level threat. Yeah. Gums sure lied his way to cadre status. He lied on his job interview. He just faked everything. Gums is Goro's twin. Yep. Yeah, that's why he got in. Goro is just family connections, I guess. That's how he got in.
Neon is generally placed above Gums for performing slightly better against better opponents. He managed to place Buri Buri and damage Drive Knight in his bishop state. Drive Knight also states that without prep time, he would never have landed a death blow. He also possesses versatile abilities that allows him to defend himself or inflict unpredictable attacks, in contrast to Gums, who can only rely on his biting and pushing strength. His feline retribution kinda forced Drive Knight to use his gold state to defend against it. So in a general sense, I feel like Neon should be slightly or much stronger than Gums, but for the time being, he should be placed right here. At number 24, we've got the strongest in...
Okay, you know, everything he said is correct, but I'm also gonna say, if you want to be a little bit of a rat, Drive Knight fought Sairochi. Jet Rochi, technically, as people call her. But, yeah, the Jet version of Psychos, which took blows from Darkshine, Atomic Samurai, and Big and Bomb. And Drive Knight was fighting her on even footing, but he said he couldn't land a death blow on Neon, and Neon was damaging him more than Sairochi's laser damaged him once. So technically... okay, I'll stop now. I'll stop.
In the low tier in my opinion, which should be Ugly Fuhrer. Ugly Fuhrer has been stated to get stronger the more pathetic he feels. This is very relevant because Gums was heavily damaged by Ugly Fuhrer's redirected punch, as I said before, in contrast to amped Ugly Fuhrer, who should have felt more pathetic when fighting against Silver Fang, tanking his own redirected punch in the face, but wasn't as heavily damaged as Gums. However, you can't really know for sure if he really scales above Neon, since these two characters are pretty much unquantifiable.
The biggest thing is Fear Ugly took on some attacks from Bang, so it just depends on how impressive you think Bang is. Which, it's weird, because Bang is shown doing like his breathing maneuver, that technically we should call the Awakening Breath, or we would, but at the same time, that would make no sense whatsoever, because Ugly, in a stronger state, matches up with Darkshine well, but then gets one-shot by the same Garo that was just fighting Silver Fang. And yeah, it's just kind of really weird for base Fear Ugly to scale to Silver Fang. Now, I will say there is something interesting about Silver Fang, and that is that he says multiple times that he can only ever go truly all out once in his life. Against Elder Centipede and against Garo, he says that both times that he's trying or planning to go all out. And against Ugly, it doesn't seem like he's prepared to like give his life away. Like, he's definitely not giving his life away to fight Ugly, let's be honest. So, it seems to me like maybe the breath he used against Ugly is like some weird in-between state where maybe it's like stronger than his base, but not as strong as his like full power, I will sacrifice my life force type of stuff. So Bang should maybe only scale to Garo with that like almost suicide breath, but then this in between one scales to Fear Ugly. Like, it's really weird. But yeah, overall, it depends on who's higher than Fear Ugly, but like, maybe he could go a couple places higher, maybe like to mid-tier or low mid-tier. But yeah, I do think some people should be below Ugly that we will get to much later in the list though.
Now, passing on to the C tier, at number 23, we've got Evil Natural Water. Admittedly, this character is pretty weird in terms of scaling, since he doesn't really do much aside from pushing Darkshine a few meters away. However, he gets reacted to by characters like Base Child Emperor, Iain, and Atomic Samurai. The only reason he is placed here is only because of his potential and how difficult it is to kill him, although Darkshine managed to shatter him in his single punch, and Garu later on managed to do the same thing with multiple kicks against a stronger version of his that we'd be ranking later in this video, meaning multiple powerful and fast hits by strong opponents would be able to do the job. So if you think that Ugly Fuhrer was amped enough at that time to accomplish that task, it should still be fine. Now at number 22, 21, and 20.
So Evil Natural Water, he's really weird in his base state because, like Yasin said, he kind of has nothing to show. Like, he beats the 3 disciples, which isn't a lot, to be honest, Atomic Samurai's disciples. Child Emperor reacts to his attacks, which isn't the best showing either. Like, Child Emperor's best reaction feats are, I guess, against Phoenix Man. Like, that's the only really big fight he has, and Phoenix Man isn't really known for being that much of a speedster anyway. And Child Emperor only really reacts to him in Brave Giant, and the... before Brave Giant, he actually does get pretty much, not blitzed, but like severely outsped by a charge from Phoenix Man, because Phoenix Man just kind of rams through all his shields and Child Emperor has no time to dodge and just takes the blow. So it kind of doesn't really scale him anywhere. When he gets bigger, he gets way stronger. But honestly, with how easily Darkshine dismantled him, and Fear Ugly probably not being like several one-shot tiers below his vomited self, which matched Dark Shine. I think that Fear Ugly might be able to pull it off, but it would be like high difficulty maybe.
We've got the Dark Matter Thieves Commanders, Melzigard, Giryu Gunshoop, and Groribas. Bro, it was too hard. You see, Melzigard being able to stall 4 S-class heroes is very impressive, yes, but his damage output and his physical strength are probably just too low. I mean, he was slashed by Iain and Atomic Samurai easily, and post Deep Sea King Puri Puri managed to put a hole in him. Silver Fang also took a full head-on attack and treated it as a morning stretch for his shoulders. The only thing that made him stall them in this fight was his regen ability. Think about it this way, if someone like Metal Bat, not that bright of a guy, was able to figure out your weakness, I reckon many would be able to do the same thing. Giryu Gunshoop should be on the same tier but got defeated by Saitama, so we probably wouldn't really know for sure who is the strongest between these two. Changing their placements shouldn't create any problems. In addition to that, I'm aware that there also exists a statement from Murata saying that Giryu Gunshoop is the greatest psychic in the universe after all, meaning to a lot of people he should be stronger than Tatsumaki, right? Wrong.
Which is a joke.
Murata actually was being sarcastic in that comment, and the biggest proof is his statement of Orochi being able to defeat all of them with relative ease. Tatsumaki obviously scales even above Orochi himself, meaning she would be able to clear all of them together with no difficulties. Roribas on the other hand is featless and got quickly destroyed by Saitama, but Giryu Gunshoop stated he is their strongest warrior or best combatant. Pretty self-explanatory why he is placed above all of them. Now before going to the next tier,
Okay, so I actually do have a little bit to say about this. Melzigard I think should be below, like, pretty much everybody except Gums. Because Neon at least did something to Drive Knight, and Drive Knight admitted that, yeah, if he didn't have prep, he wouldn't have landed a fatal blow. And then Fear Ugly scales to, like, maybe a fraction of Dark Shine, which should still be higher than Base Metal Bat and Puri Puri Prisoner at that point in the series. And Evil Natural Water, just by scaling to, like, Base Child Emperor, should probably have enough reaction speed to just react and to attack Melzigard. I don't see Melzigard ever defeating Evil Natural Water, and I very casually see Fear Ugly and Neon both figuring out his Marble weakness, because, like, his stats are just really bad. Like, at this point, Puri Puri Prisoner wasn't that much stronger than Deep Sea King, which is one of the weakest demons that we've actually seen in terms of scaling. Like, the ones in the Monster Association scale way better. So, yeah, Melzigard is sad, but for Groribas and for Giryu Gunshoop, you actually can make some arguments. Like, for example, Giryu Gunshoop actually managed to damage Boros' ship with his attacks, like the Black Hole and the Pebbles. And Boros' ship tanked, like, the moon jump from Saitama. There are problems with this way of scaling. Mainly that maybe Saitama lost momentum and power between the moon and the earth, so maybe that's why the ship could take the jump so well. Maybe the ship's interior doesn't scale to the exterior, that's also a valid critique. But if you do think that Giryu Gunshoop scales to the ship, like, for example, Giryu Gunshoop was confident that he could fight Saitama decently. Like, he was shocked that his Pebble attacks and his Black Hole did nothing. Black Hole in the anime only, but yeah, you know, even in the manga, he was shocked that the Pebble attack didn't do anything to Saitama. But he knew that Saitama was destroying parts of the ship, and he broke his way into the ship. So you could say Giryu Gunshoop scales above the ship's durability. And then, at that point, where does the ship scale? The ship just takes its own bombardment point blank, which was stated to be able to wipe out all the heroes on the surface, if it wasn't for Tatsumaki. So you could sort of make roundabout arguments for Giryu Gunshoop being much higher. And also the ship just, again, took the moon jump, which can be calced from multi-continental to some people even calc it to, like, planet level, but that's a very, very high ball. But yeah, so basically, if you believe Giryu Gunshoop scales to the ship, and if you believe the ship could kill the S-Class, then you can make very high arguments for Giryu Gunshoop. But overall, yeah, he's definitely not that impressive in terms of scaling, because he does nothing. And then Groribas just upscales from Giryu Gunshoop because he's the mightiest warrior. And apparently has like 20 different techniques at his disposal, so we can say that that is, you know, there is a high-end scale for the generals, but it's not really anything too substantial. Like, you either believe it or you don't. Hey, let's check out the chat really quickly and then I will go back to the video. Can't put Boros and I cannot put Boros' generals above anyone, maybe Gums. Boros' ship over Tatsumaki? Wait, why? Like, it tanked a bunch of casual attacks from Tatsumaki, but anything serious would have definitely taken it down. Do not forget Gloribas killed Saitama in an alternate universe. The ship stayed up and endured Saitama versus Boros. Oh, because of that? Yeah, I wish we saw more of him. Yeah, I wish so too. Garugan ship seems like fun, but yeah, we can move on now. It's not really anything too substantial for the generals, you know, they aren't really that controversial of characters.
Here, I want to preference that I wouldn't have a problem if either Evil Natural Water or Ugly Fury could be placed higher than the Dark Matter Thieves. I just feel like Kiryu Gunshu can throw rebels at Evil Natural Water in super speed that should be able to do the job, and Melzgod's regen abilities should allow him to contend with Evil Natural Water and Ugly Fury.
That's somewhat fair, but personally I would
Now
place
passing
them
on
above
to B tier,
Melzard.
which should be where the controversy starts, since these characters can defeat each other based on the circumstances they are presented with and how they match up against each other. We start with number 19 and 18, we've got Black S and Vomited Fury Ugly. I would say that these two characters are very interchangeable, as I would argue both can defeat each other. However, the reason Ugly Fury gets this considerable amp is because, as I said before, the more pathetic he feels, the stronger he gets. Not only was he humiliated by Silverfang, verbally and physically, he was also beaten by Gums, ridiculed by other heroes, and made fun by Black S. These infuriating, miserable actions led him to power up significantly to the point of reacting and matching with Darkshine's attack potency. However, unlike what a lot of people think, matching up with Darkshine in one exchange doesn't necessarily mean he would eventually have defeated him. Darkshine is known for exchanging blows for a long period of time and still come up on top. The only reason he lost is because of Acid, which in this case, as I said before, is a very bad matchup. However, Ugly Fury would be able to destroy Evil Natural Water the same way Darkshine did, as the latter didn't really use a strong attack to accomplish that feat. He would also be able to cripple the Dark Matter Thieves, since, as I said, they generally lack in damage output, durability, and physical strength. Black S, on the other hand, literally embodies the definition.
Okay, so since he's moving on, I'm gonna talk about Sphere Ugly now. Personally, I think he is too low, a lot too low, personally, because, okay, going back to the Carnage Kabuto comparison, sure, Darkshine did clash with Kabuto for a long time, and we know, like, Yasin mentions later that Darkshine's durability is higher than his attack potency, but the thing is, just by scaling to Darkshine's attack potency, it means that he would be able to defeat Carnage Mode Carnage Kabuto, just because he would be able to deal more damage to Kabuto than Darkshine did, or, you know, the same amount of damage with his punches, not including the acid, just the strength, should be relative. So, if Darkshine was able to eventually overcome Carnage Kabuto's durability, then I don't see why the Vomited Fury Ugly wouldn't be able to. And in terms of durability, I mean, yeah, Darkshine is more durable than his damage output, but it's kind of unquantifiable by how much exactly. Like, the biggest thing is maybe you could say, since Spiral Garo clashed with him evenly but then took many blows to actually damage Darkshine, you could say he's a ton more durable, and that's fair. But, like, unless you think Carnage Kabuto's durability is the same as Darkshine's, which there is no evidence for, like, we would just say that his durability scales below or to Darkshine's attack potency. So, to say that, you know, he could clash with him for 15 minutes but still lose. So, Vomited Fury Ugly with raw strength and speed should be capable of just reacting to Carnage Kabuto and actually damaging him and killing him. So, that's my personal take. Unless Carnage is just, like, so strong that he can just kill Vomited Ugly somehow, but I don't really see that happening. I think the acid would just already be a very large hindrance. Like, he would punch Ugly. Ugly withstood the punch with Darkshine very well, like his bones didn't shatter or anything. And we have absolutely no confirmation that Carnage Kabuto's AP should scale to Darkshine's durability, because he wasn't scratched and Darkshine was still looking for stronger monsters. than Carnage Kabuto in the audiobook. You know, when they fight in Geno's training, the audiobook, he fights Carnage Kabuto and then asks Genos if there's anybody stronger, and then thinks that it's a shame that there isn't. Meaning that Carnage Kabuto probably wasn't close to, like, actually damaging him, like Darkshine probably didn't feel pain or whatnot. So I wouldn't say that there is any evidence at all to put Carnage Kabuto above Fear Ugly, Vomited Fear Ugly specifically. And Carnage Kabuto is way higher on this list than Ugly. So that's why personally I think Ugly is way too low. I think he should be above Carnage Kabuto personally. Like, it's fine. Like Yasin said, we all have different takes and opinions, but personally I would have placed Ugly a lot higher. Because, again, I don't think there's any evidence to suggest that Carnage Kabuto could actually beat Ugly's durability, like surpass it. And Ugly, there is evidence to say that Ugly could surpass Carnage Kabuto's durability. So I would say, personally, I would have him above.
Of the dragon level threats. He can overwhelm S-class tier characters, envelop cities with his clones, and is very unpredictable and intelligent. The reason people don't really give him his dues is because he gets reacted to and killed by characters like Ayan and Sprint Mustachio. He also clearly states that Darkshine is someone he can never defeat if he doesn't perform a complete merge, which is obviously transforming into his golden state. And for this specific reason, a lot of people think that Vomited Fury Ugly should be above Black S, since the former matched with Darkshine in strength. However, Vomited Fury Ugly's durability shouldn't scale to Darkshine's, as even Darkshine himself stated he doesn't even know how to harm himself. In addition to that, Black S also suggested they need to merge for Darkshine, otherwise they could never defeat him, but had a different plan to defeat Vomited Fury Ugly without needing to transform, since Vomited needs to replenish, giving Black S the time to cut off his nourishment. However, this is a double-edged sword, since Vomited would also have an endless stock of fuel, since Black S is literally his source of energy. So as I said before, this could go either way, but I believe Black S with his overwhelming numbers and his busted reaction speed would eventually be able to come up on top. There also exists a crazy statement from Morata saying that even if Orochi transforms, Black S would still not be afraid due to his overwhelming numbers. But as I said, at the end of the day, characters on this tier are very interchangeable and matchup dependent, and things can go either way. Now at number 17.
Okay, so for another note, Black S, for his plan for beating Ugly, I don't think that would have worked at all, because Ugly is capable of reacting to and clashing equally with Darkshine in terms of speed. Because, like, he actually has to turn around, while Darkshine already has his fist cocked up, ready to just launch a nuke, or, you know, double bazooka at Ugly. And Ugly has to turn around to match it. So, if Darkshine is faster than Black S, which I do think he is, then Pure Ugly should also be faster than Black S and be able to just catch the clones. So unless Black S just, like, uses a few billion clones to stall Ugly and then just has the rest run away in the meantime and, like, hide away somewhere, then I could see Black S winning. And, like, in an actual battle, I do think that's what would happen. Like, he would just hide and win eventually, by just using distractions to stall him initially and then just dipping, you know. But that's running away from the fight, so I don't really know if that's supposed to be winning. Other than that, I don't see any way for Black S to win. And he is also really weird because, like, he could probably fatigue a lot of the people higher up on the list and eventually beat them. But overall, it's kind of... like, he admits himself, someone of Darkshine's caliber is just unbeatable to him without fusion, so I don't really see how he would deal with a lot of the people above, so I do agree that Black S is definitely on the lower end of the list.
We've got Evolved Evil Natural Water. So this character right here...
By the way, another thing about the generals I just remembered, about Boros' generals, it was either one or Murata, one of those, when asked about if the generals could beat Orochi, they said, one or Murata, one of them, that the generals would have a very slight chance of winning with prep time, almost none at all. But the fact that there is any chance whatsoever that they could do something to Orochi with prep time while working together still is insane, because, for example, like, take Oketsu, Golden S, and, like, Rover, right? personally, I could not see these three doing anything to Orochi no matter how much prep time they get. So if the generals have like a very tiny chance of winning against Orochi, you could maybe use that to also highball them, but yeah. It's not definitive by any means, I'm just like throwing it out there.
I kid you not, unlike the webcomics, has just one feat. A very impressive feat though. He was able to instinctively react to King's wave motion almost monster form Garu's attack. Granted, Garu was obviously not going all out in terms of speed. However, other characters couldn't even...
He wouldn't have been able to react to the motion cannon, let's be honest. He would have been destroyed if that was actually what happened.
Perceive what happened in that instant. One other reason he is this high is because I admit that I simply cannot see how any character below him can defeat him. However, one other way to downgrade his speed is the fact that all the characters Garu blitzed were either caught off guard or in the middle of something. Platinum S should be able to react to Garu but was simply too focused against the Juggernaut King. Vomited Fury Ugly was in the middle of trying to kill Silver Fang, not aware there is literally someone behind him trying to kill him, and Bomb was
yeah, but I'm sorry to pause midpoint, but I want to get into it. I don't think Garo was really holding back because why would he, is the thing. Like, he screams at the top of his lungs and then goes on a rampage. Why would he be holding back his speed is the thing to me. Like, he's not fully conscious yet, he's still mostly feral. So it's like, what is up with, like, why would he be holding back his speed? That's the question I have. And also, Fear Ugly... If we go back to this panel, Fear Ugly was already mid-punch, so and he hates Bang with all his heart, so I imagine he would want to pulverize him as much as possible, like he would want to deliver the most satisfying punch imaginable, you know, like he hates this guy so much. So I do think he would be punching with force, and not holding back like to like a very significant degree. And Garo still blitzed him from behind and like completely outsped his punch. So I do think that Garo should be much faster at this point than Ugly. And Water reacted to him. So if that is the case, I do think Water is way, way faster than anybody on the list so far. And a bunch of the people above him as well, but not necessarily stronger than those people. Bro's voice is ASMR. Yo, guys, should I start an ASMR channel? Would you be interested in that? Would you be interested in whispering Satori? Goroibas is the only reason they win. Yep. Black as fodder, power of number trillion. Now, he's not fodder, but I don't think he's like that high, personally. Well, the video is fine. The video placement is fine. I just don't think he's like higher than the video placement. Evil Natural Water is kind of wasted potential as well. Yeah, I would say so. The thing is, though, you gotta take into consideration that Marauder said the 3 generals stand a slight chance before the Gaia Cannon. Yeah, that was before the redraw, which in some cases is less impressive, like there's no Gaia Cannon, but in another case, he stopped Saitama dead in his tracks mid-punch. So it's kind of like, what? How do those guys stand any chance whatsoever? No, I hate whispering. Satori's voice versus staying awake is not close. Evil Ocean Water kinda blitz post Platinum Garo actually. Big Evil Natural Water reaction time should be top dragon level. When did Water blitz Garo though? I don't remember that one. Oh, post Platinum S. I mean, Garo was forced to be still and just take his attack, so I don't think it should be counted as a blitz, but yeah.
One behind him trying to kill him, and Bomb was seemingly also able to react to Garu. So if you believe characters such as Black S and Vomited Fury Ugly would be able to defeat it, I wouldn't really argue with it, but I feel like this should be his proper placement. At number 16, we've got Homeless Emperor, the least looking monster on this list. So Homeless Emperor, in my opinion, is pretty self-explanatory. He has the infinite firepower to get rid of Black S and Evil Natural Water, and already showcased his clear supremacy over Vomited Fury Ugly. The only problem he has is his human being type of durability. He is obviously a glass cannon, and even someone like Moomin Rider can compete in the durability department. But strictly speaking, his tendencies of always trying to sorta have fun can be his downfall. He is literally always holding back. Against Tatsumaki, he wasn't even looking at her, just imagining a simple...
It's such a shame he was holding back the entire time. Like, imagine if we actually got to see him go all out. Could you imagine? Like, how satisfying and how spectacular that would have been. Like, imagine Golden S and Homeless Emperor fighting, like, Monster Goro or something. Could you imagine that? That would have been so cool. But, on Homeless Emperor, while I have it paused, I do think, in terms of attack potency, he definitely scales above everybody else. But the thing is, his reaction speed I don't think is enough to actually react to evil natural water at this point, personally. So, it's kind of weird. Like, he could bomb it and just destroy it, vaporize it, but at the same time, if evil natural water senses killing intent, I do think it could blitz him and just kill him. So, personally, I would probably place big natural water above Homeless in a matchup. But in terms of general scaling, it just depends who they're up against. Like, if the opponent is really, really fast, then ocean water or natural water is the way to go. But then if the opponent is, like, really, really tough, then Homeless Emperor is the way to go. So that's how I would personally say. Like, that's the difference. One has the AP, the other has the speed. Is evolved natural water just ocean water? Depends on what you mean by evolved natural water, but in the context it was used in the previous chat reply, I would say probably yes. Can Blast solo whole monsters team and Boros an army of Boros? Yeah, unfortunately. My Go does not stand a chance. I'm sad about that. Do you think Orochi could beat armored Boros? It depends. You could talk about that a little bit. Top 10 strongest characters, things with meme force, or how far does IRL humanity get with One Punch Man character Iceberg? That's a pretty decent video ideas, I would say. I'm 16 minutes off. I love it already, Satri. Thanks, Yasin. Yeah, by the way, this isn't like a debunk or anything. I'm just presenting like an alternate interpretation of where I would personally say these guys are. Like Yasin said, everybody has their own takes at the beginning of the video, so yeah, don't take it as like an attack or anything. Bro got sneaked by a zombie man of all people, so yeah, his reaction speed is dude. Oh, to be fair, it was from behind, so he didn't know he was there until the very, like, until his neck was already grabbed, so I do think he is decently fast, but I don't think he's that fast. He's definitely below Golden Essence speed, for example. We saw that one demonstrated against Atomic Samurai, so yeah. I'd cook Homeless Emperor if it's close quarters. Maybe. Didn't Homeless Emperor go all out against Atomic Samurai? I mean, technically, yeah, but like it wasn't a super high scale, like intense, bombardment or anything. It was him going all out, but it was just like a spam of orbs in one singular direction. What I mean is I would have loved to see him just like bombing everything on the battlefield, just throwing nukes down left and right, all that kind of stuff. But yeah.
Funny while he creates a bunch of orbs. Against Zombie Man, he was literally taunting him the whole time and admitted he was holding back. Against Vomited, he didn't want to murder him, just wanted to show his clear supremacy over him. And against Iayan and Mustachio, he literally chose to rain his orbs down instead of aiming them head-on with considerable speed just like he did to Vomited. So he obviously controls how much power he uses against all of his opponents and chooses to enjoy the process without killing them instantly, as that quote-unquote would not be boring for him. However, Homeless Emperor is still very weird. Due to his significant weakness, he can still be defeated by Black S if he sneaks clones under the ground, or even Neon, who can move through small cracks. But in an overall tier, he should be placed above all these monsters due to how infinitely destructive he is. Now, at number...
Yeah, I would mostly agree. But also the thing with him that's really weird is that, for example, he fires off a massive spirit bomb at Child Emperor, and it gets blocked by like one of his tiny drones with a little carpet shield. Which is really weird, because, like, do the small bombs that damaged Pure Ugly just scale higher than the massive spirit bomb? I mean, I guess it's possible, but, like, it doesn't feel right, Because, obviously, unless you think the little, like, carpet shield is stronger than Darkshine level durability. Or, like, attack potency, at least. Because Pure Ugly's durability should scale to Darkshine's attack potency. So, like, unless you think that one little shield could block, like, Darkshine's full double bazooka, kind of weird to think about. But yeah.
15, we've got vaccine.
Hold on, let me check if chat has gone any further. Do you think Armored Boros solos the Monster Association? If not, at what point does he need to power up? Okay, the only contentious ones are like Psycho, Sorochi, and Platinum S, I feel, personally. That could be its own video. What if he died to his own energy blasts? Yep. In matchups, though, he loses even to the monster ninjas because he's a human. Yeah, for sure. The ninjas are busted. They are so strong. I think they're some of the most underrated characters in the series. Homeless guy, level 99 AP, level 1 defense. Yep. Homeless Emperor, in my opinion, has the best AP of any dragon next to Golden S. I mean, Orochi's Gaia Cannon, I would say, is personally a lot higher, but sure. I could maybe see that. I feel like Homeless Emperor's weakness is confidence. One of his weaknesses, yeah. Okay, Vaccine Man being this high is crazy. We'll get to my thoughts on Vaccine Man. This just goes to show how great an engineer Child Emperor is. Homeless Emperor and Vaccine Man were stated to have the same power, though. I'll get to that one as well. Vaccine Man is pretty underrated. Okay, let's get into it now. Vaccine Man, Chosia and Vaccine Man and Homeless Emperor stated to have the same orbs. Doesn't mean they're equal and powered. They're just balls of energy. Yeah. So basically, okay, we can get to Vaccine Man now. I'll let this section play out and then I'll provide my thoughts, because personally I do agree. I think Phoenix Man, personally, I would have him near the bottom of the list, and I'll explain why later.
Man. You see, this is completely based on my headcanon, and it seems that the majority of our community agrees that Vaccine Man should be just like Homeless Emperor, but without his glass cannon weakness. The reason we think this is because Murata himself stated that Homeless Emperor, Chose, and Vaccine Man possesses the same kind of light orbs energy. Chose obviously has access to a much conservative ability, as he needed to charge so hard to produce one single attack. But conversely, Vaccine Man, same as Homeless Emperor, seems to have the ability to produce it infinitely. However, Vaccine Man on paper should be much more impressive, as not only is he physically strong, but it was also stated that he is the largest and most dangerous monster ever recorded in City A. The Hero Association executives ordered to summon multiple heroes from Class A and B just to buy time before contacting either Metal Knight or Tornado of Terra Tatsumaki. And this is only after witnessing what he can do in his base state. In addition to that, he should have an answer to all the monsters that are below him on this list. For Black Ass, Evil Natural Water, and Vomited Fury Ugly, he can simply fly in the sky and decimate them with his energy spheres infinitely. Now at number 14, we've got Marugori, aka...
Okay, so getting to Vaccine Man. Oh, hello, big felling. Before that, €5. Thank you very much. Homeless Emperor is a Kid Gara victim. Yeah. Do I have to make that into a video? I mean, that could be a fun meme video, for sure. Released Boros versus every character below him. Tatsumaki is like the only problem, but even then, I think... I'll get into some stuff later, but... Okay, basically, Saitama fights Tatsumaki at full power. You're pretty tough. Saitama exchanges punches with Boros, and before even seeing Meteoric Burst or his Energy Blast, he says you're strong. So that's my answer. That would be my answer. So Vaccine Man... Let's go into some of the statements made for him. In this town, it was the largest monster ever recorded. Depending on the translation, it can say that this was like the strongest monster ever recorded up to that date. Like in this town, the strongest monster up until that point appeared, or something like that. Now, that one could technically place him above, like, a weaker Elder Centipede. This is the only argument I've heard that maybe could be used to upscale Vaccine Man in my eyes, but overall, the statement with him having like the same energy spheres as Chose and Homeless Emperor, I don't think it means the same strength personally, because if that was the case, Chose would be able to like damage Darkshine, which is really weird to me because the Suiryu just blocked it and like threw it into the air, and then Suiryu was outboxed by Bakuzan. So if you think Bakuzan is Darkshine level and above, then I mean maybe, but personally I think it's just like the same kind as Vaccine Man and Homeless Emperor. I don't think there's anything really to suggest that it's like the same exact thing. But even if it is, the main problem I have with this statement, actually let me just get it. The main problem I have with Vaccine Man in general, let me get it really quickly. I should have prepared in advance for this. There we go. Let's save the image really quickly. I want to put something on stream, on the screen. So, the biggest issue that I have with Vaccine Man as a whole, and Beefcake as well, we can immediately talk about him as well, because why not? Tell me if you guys can see the databook statement. Base Carnage Kabuto. This is all on the same page as base Carnage Kabuto, not the Carnage mode. It hasn't gotten to that yet. So, the scariest and most horrible monster ever created by Dr. Genus. And then, at the bottom of this paragraph right here, on a physical level, he possesses abilities that are in an incomparably higher league than other monsters so far. And as Yasin will get to later, there's like 3 interpretations you could get. Or he says 2, I would say 3. One is like, if he's just stronger than the House of Evolution monsters, which there's really nothing to support. Like, there's nothing that specifically calls out that he's only, like, incomparably higher than the other House of Evolution monsters. And the databook at this point has already talked about the other monsters of the Season 1, so, like, Marugori and Vaccine Man. So, according to this, base Carnage Kabuto should be in an incomparably higher league physically than even evolved or second form Vaccine Man, and Marugori as well. Which is important because in the audiobook Geno's training, Metalbat in base can fight Carnage Kabuto for 3 minutes in base. And he does die in the end because it's specifically called out that he doesn't have the fighting spirit. But that's what makes it even worse. Base Metalbat, no fighting spirit, could react to and clash with Carnage Kabuto for 3 minutes. He was getting ragdolled, but he was still at least reacting to and not getting one-shot. So, on a physical level, a base Metalbat level combatant should be at least capable of reacting to Vaccine Man and probably outspeeding him, because Carnage Kabuto is stated to be in an incomparably higher league. So, if we take this to be the case, then Human Garo fights... okay, Metalbat fights, what's his name, Senior Centipede, and he struggles. Then he gets pumped up and one-shots him. Then he gets pumped up more against Elder Centipede, and then he gets launched away, smashes into the ground, should probably get even more pumped up, and he was still losing to Human Garo after that. So, like, technically, if you want to go with this chain of scaling, Human Garo is technically more impressive physically than Vaccine Man. Which is a weird thought, but at the same time, like, Vaccine Man doesn't really have any other showings, so there's nothing really to deny it, so it's really weird. Like, personally, I don't think Vaccine Man is losing to Human Garo, but, like, in terms of scaling, he should, which is kind of weird to think about, but that's just kind of how it is, how it turns out. So yeah, that's personally like my reasons for not having Vaccine Man very high. Because he's just stated to be below base Carnage Kabuto. Okay, let's catch up on chat really quick. The thing is though, as far as the hero HQ are aware, Elder Centipede was someone rivaling Blast. Yeah, that too. Anime beef size is kilometers too destructive. I mean... he is destructive, but not very strong. Again, the same applies to him, where we just have a statement of him being weaker than base Carnage Kabuto, who base Metal Bat can fight with, so it's really weird. Even if we ignore Ore Power, Chose got one at a time, Vaccine Man got dozens, but Homeless Emperor has like tens of thousands at once. Yeah. I need more Vaccine Man fights. It would have been cool to see him do more, but yeah. I know I just wanted to see Satori's exact opinion on it, but Boros could just blow up the earth and win if we include Garo. Even if we include... I'm missing something from that. There's an AOT versus Beefcake thing going on in chat. Beefcake should definitely win that one. He wasn't getting smacked by Garo because of power, though. Garo's technique was miles clear, but the other stats were equal. Yeah, the thing is, even if they're equal, Garo is equal to a Metal Bat who is so much stronger than base Metal Bat that he could probably one-shot him. Because he one-shot Senior Centipede, who he thought it was... who in base, he couldn't do that, so... It's really weird. So yeah, personally I do have Vaccine Man and Marugori below base Carnage Kabuto, which technically demotes them a lot in the tier list, or like in the list. So they're kind of odd characters to scale because they have nothing but that one statement to really scale them off of. And it doesn't feel like they should be that weak, but like it has been stated that they're below base Carnage Kabuto, so it is what it is.
Possesses the same kind of light orb's energy. Josie obviously has access to a much conservative ability as he needed to charge so hard to produce one single attack. But conversely, Vaccine Man, same as Homeless Emperor, seems to have...
I put it a little bit too... I forgot to reset it. But I think like, maybe against Black S, maybe if he just flies and shoots bombs, but even then it's kind of weird. Against Ugly, I think Ugly could just defeat him. Like blitz him and one-shot him before he even can fly up. That's just my opinion.
Years infinitely. Now at number 14 we've got Marugori aka Beefcake. I know this placement is kinda weird, but hear me out. Between him and Vaccine Man, I would say both of them can be interchangeable. Vaccine Man can fly in the sky and do as he pleases, and Beefcake can literally slap the wind and delete a whole city. So between him and Vaccine Man, this ranking is literally based on my headcanon, as we don't really have enough data to completely quantify both of them. And yeah, I know Marugori is considered to be a demon, but as one stated, if Saitama wasn't there, his disaster level would have been upgraded to Dragon. He's also 10 times bigger than Orochi, meaning he will just start jogging and the vast majority of Black Ass clones will die. Putting a hole in the city is such a big feat that should outscale a lot of people's attack potencies. However, for the time being, this is his placement in my ranking list. At number 3.
To some extent, I agree that he would be stomping the Black S clones pretty badly and like slapping them into oblivion. Because Black S clones don't scale very high. Beefcake is one of those people who I think could deal enough damage to where the numbers don't really matter. But in terms of attack potency, putting a hole in a city, personally, I do think is very much unimpressive compared to what a lot of the other characters could do. I'll have a video on it very soon, actually. I'm working on it right now, where I go in depth about how strong I think the One Punch Man characters are, like the general cast. Not like Saitama or God, but like Boros level and below, so you guys will get to see my opinion a lot more when that comes around. But yeah, I do think that putting a hole in a city isn't enough to actually put Beefcake higher than somebody like Vomited Fear Ugly, personally. I think that Carnage Kabuto in Carnage mode is slightly below half monster Spiral Garo. I would say probably more than slightly, like, in stats maybe just slightly, but in terms of technique, Garo is obviously decimating him, like in a fight. Beefcake sits on Aaron and wins, simple as that. What is the most evil fictional character you know of? Platinum S in seasons 2 and 3. That's genuinely the most evil fictional character I am aware of. I am a psychopath for what I've done with him. I should honestly put me in a mental institute, because Jesus, like even part 5, you'll see a very, very tiny glimpse of what I'm doing with Platinum, and you're not gonna like it. I promise you, you are not gonna like it. And yeah, he's by far the most evil that I have ever seen. Your video is too good and enjoyable. Thanks. Completely random question. Did you watch Gravity Falls? I have not seen it. I like the idea of Genos versus Transformers Prime except Unicron. That could be fun. Like how you didn't spoil Diamond S. LOL. Peak Evil, I don't know if Platinum S competes. Oh, AM, Allied Master Computer. You'll see. You'll see. You can decide after season 2 is complete, at least. We gotta wait and see if we're sticking you in Asylum. Plat most evil bro has not seen Berserk villains. What is the most evil thing a Berserk villain has done? Tell me right now and I will tell you if Platinum S is more evil or not in my eyes. I like the idea, top 10 most evil characters in One Punch Man. Yo, that would be fun to do. Going evil while writing is fun for sure. By the way, Eternal Flame also has a video series of Toji surviving in JJK, so if you're interested in that, feel free to check it out. It's very fun, very interesting to listen to. You should read verses, maybe sometime. Am I gonna voice Genos and then immediately get beaten by Platinum? We'll see, we'll see. Griffith, oh god. Tell me what Griffith has done. I keep hearing a lot, but I haven't... I don't know what he's done, actually. Or you can tell me in a bit. I'll come back to the chat and then read it afterwards. Let's actually get to the video a little bit and then I'll come back to it.
13, we've got Carnage Kabuto. So hear me out. This is completely based on the data book statement saying that on a physical level, he should be at an
Yeah, same here. The same statement. I didn't even have to pull it up.
comparably higher stage than other monsters so far. Now, there are two interpretations to this statement. It's either talking about all the monsters we've seen in this series so far, which would substantiate his placement over both Vaccine Man and Marugori.
Oh wait, I didn't mention the third interpretation that I said I would mention. Basically, it depends on if you think it's base Carnage Kabuto or Carnage Mode Carnage Kabuto. I do think it's base, since that's the Carnage Kabuto that has been shown, but yeah.
Or maybe this statement is only regarding the House of Evolution monsters. I personally tend to lean towards the former for this specific, admittedly weak reason. Dr. Genus and Fukagayo, whatever, right? These are very smart scientists that created very strong monsters, but in my opinion, Dr.
Fukigayo. That's the only correct way to pronounce it. You have to pronounce it Fukigayo from now on, everybody. That if you're gonna take one thing away from this live stream, and from my entire channel as a whole, from my entire existence, you have to pronounce it Fukigayo from now on, in that exact voice, okay? Thank you very much.
Dr. Genus should be much better and well versed in evolution science. I mean, he is literally the first character that explained the whole power system of One Punch Man and why Saitama is this strong. He also should have more knowledge as he lived for too long, seeing that he had access to outside informations on the very first dragon level monsters such as Vaccine Man and Marugori, so him believing that Carnage Kabuto is someone that cannot be defeated holds much more weight. Carnage Kabuto is weirdly also considered to be a smart monster, holds very high instinctive senses as he was the first monster who knew that Saitama is not a joke. However, people like to downplay him due to his defeat against Darkshine in the audiobook. First of all, well, there are merits behind using the VGS in terms of power scaling, obviously, but Genos' data should be very questionable, as not only did he never fight Carnage Kabuto, but when he observed Saitama one-shotting him, the data behind how strong Carnage Mode Kabuto should be next to impossible for Genos to quantify. But even if we say the VGS doesn't have any problems and should be taken to be 100% facts, it still took Darkshine 15 minutes straight to defeat Kabuto. This means that Darkshine is blatantly stronger than Vaccine Man and Marugori. Yes, please stop the downplay on Darkshine. Just because he lost to Garu and got his spirit broken by acid and ultimately got one-shotted by Golden S doesn't mean that Darkshine is a fodder. But on the other hand, his durability is much stronger than his attack potency, which means that he can tank his own attacks. So being able to fight him for 15 minutes straight is actually an incredible feat. Now for number 12.
Yeah, I do agree that, like, Darkshine isn't weak by any means. Like, I call him the gatekeeper of the top tiers for good reason. Like, you're either stronger than Darkshine or you're not worth talking about. It's kind of harsh, but, like, yeah, that's the thing. Like, you're either at the same level as Darkshine or stronger, or you're kind of fodder in the series, in the grand scheme of things. Like, he is the benchmark of power. But yeah, I would say, like, Genos' data not being reliable kind of would, if anything, nerf Carnage Kabuto, though, in my opinion, because if we don't have that, then what do we have for Carnage Kabuto? Just the one statement that he's above Marugori and above Vaccine Man, and we wouldn't really have anything else to scale him off of. So, like, for me, Carnage Kabuto is this impressive because he went toe-to-toe with Darkshine for 15 minutes. So, I mean, like, he could technically be stronger, but there's not really any way to prove it, so... I definitely think Carnage Kabuto is strong. I do think he's one of the stronger dragons. Like, he's definitely beating some of the lower tiers for sure. But I do think he's below Vomited Fear Ugly and, like, that tier of people.
This is going to be a very, very controversial take, and I'm sure a lot of people would disagree with me on this one. So we've got both.
Okay, Hellfire Flame and Galewind we will get to in a sec, but I want to see the chat. Carnage Kabuto is not beating Vomited Fear Ugly. Yeah, I would agree with that. What is Platinum S about to do? I'm not spoiling it. Most evil character for me is Goku. That's an interesting pick. I don't want to spoil Berserk that much, because there's a lot of sacrifice, R-word stuff, torture, or just being evil for the sake of being evil. That's a fair point. Let me guess, is Platinum S gonna do a P. Diddy moment? Not that kind of evil. Griffith is not a villain. Do you know of AM from the horror short story I Have No Mouth, But I Must Scream? That AI is honestly probably on a similar level as Platinum S and one of Boros Good seasons 2 and 3. If you say he is that evil. Maybe. I haven't seen it though, so I can't really say. There is nothing worse than with Griffith, the Guts, and everyone else involved. I need to read Berserk at some point. I just don't have the time most of the time. Reverse Flash is the most evil character I've seen. What threat level of pain in One Punch Man verse? Dragon or Demon? Naruto pain, I'm assuming. If you're being very generous with his scaling, you could say he restrained half the Ninetales, most of half the Ninetales, which you could say is planetary based off that one statement, or two statements actually in the dead book. So if that's the case, definitely above Dragon, but if you are less generous and you disregard, like, the whole planetary stuff, he should still be above the Bijou, which generally can be scaled to, like, continental, sometimes even multi-continental. But only for the stronger ones, so, like, the weaker ones should be, like, multi-continental, just continental, maybe, if you use calcs for them and stuff. Or if you downscale them from the calcs for Gyuki and Kurama. So if he's continental, then it's like, he's still dragon, but not a very high dragon, I feel. Like, there are a bunch of people who could beat him. And if you think he's, like, mountain level, then I think he's getting destroyed by tons and tons of people in the series. I'll get into my scaling for One Punch Man more in depth in the upcoming video. He basically says Fear Ugly clashed punches once with him, and Carnage Kabuto clashed more than 10 minutes. I mean, that's fair, but, like, it's still we don't know how exactly much Kabuto did to Darkshine. And, like, the things I already said still stand. Like, We have no proof that Darkshine's durability could be overcome by Kabuto, and we have proof that Darkshine's punches can overcome Kabuto's durability. So we have proof that Ugly's punches, just his raw physical might, should be able to overcome Carnage Kabuto's durability. And with the acid, it's worse. And then we have no proof that Carnage Kabuto could damage Vomited Ugly, so just kind of my reasoning for it. Beefcake's brother probably has more potential. He made a fodder human guy at dragon level within 6 years. I mean, maybe. I can solo everyone on this list 100%, trust me, bro. Pain in One Punch Man would be sick. I would love to see him fight Orochi or something. Yasin has done an Akatsuki versus S-Class Heroes video, so that's something you could check out, but honestly, I have thought... I have also done a video on Pain versus Tatsumaki with another person, but they keep deleting their channel and starting over, so... I'm not exactly sure where you could find it now, but if you Google Pain versus Tatsumaki Darky, you probably could find it. It's a more highballed version of Pain, though. Imagine first place is Fraud Centipede. Cosmic Boros, how strong would he be? Very, very strong. But there's no exact way to tell how strong, so yeah.
Gale Wind and Hellfire Flame. Now hear me out, it's very important to understand that these two characters are dragons individually. Just them being able to be relative to a holding back Flashy Flash is a feat that outclasses most characters in terms of speed. Even Flash himself has stated that they would have given the S-Class heroes troubles due to their superior speed. Both of them managed to hurt Flashy Flash at least enough to make him cough up blood. So I'll walk you out through my process of thinking. Now imagine with me these characters with their superior crazy speed against others that we mentioned so far. They either straight up defeat them or by the very least stalemate them, with possibly the only character reacting to them is Evolved Evil Natural Water. So if we count coughing up blood as damage, they'd be able to hurt most characters below this level. Vomited Ugly would not be a problem since Garu wasn't affected by his acid due to how fast that kick was. Black Ass would overwhelm them in numbers, but they should still be able to stalemate him. Homeless Emperor would be very susceptible to their speed, and they could eventually decapitate him. Some people scale these characters to be way below this level based on their interpretation, but being able to be relative and slightly damaging Flashy Flash is a crazy feat for me. So it's very understandable if you want to put them here or marginally below this placement.
Based placement. Based placement. I have always been of the opinion that Hellfire Flame and Galewind are super underrated. Flashy Flash tanks Godslayer blows from Garo. You know, Monster Calamity, Godslayer Fist, and then he does a barrage of blows on both Platinum S and Flashy Flash, and he knocks them both back, but they both take it. Flashy Flash takes it, and Hellfire and Gale do damage him. They make him cough up blood. They do like a similar amount of damage as that barrage from Garo did, which is insane to think about, but it does happen. And Flashy Flash actually needed a bit of a strat to beat them both at the same time. Because first he feigns weakness, right? He pretends that he's actually down, and then he lures them in, then Flashy kicks them, stunning them, and then grabs a sword and has to one-shot them both simultaneously. He thought if he only one-shot one of them, the other could get away. There was a chance that they could get away and cause trouble later. Meaning that they have to be not like a blitz tier below Flash, right? Because if he was a blitz tier above them, then there would be no chance of them getting away, but there was. So they have to be at least somewhat relative to Flash, and he wouldn't have needed a strat to beat them if he was just a blitz tier above. Like, he needed to stun them before blitzing them, right? He needed them to be immobilized for the moment. So they are actually insane. Flashy Flash also takes a barrage from suppressed Platinum S and costs up blood, more blood than from Hellfire and Gale, but it's still similar kinds of damage, like he still survives it. So the fact that Hellfire Flame and Galewind at all did anything to Flashy Flash, for me is enough to just make them completely wipe this list so far. Like, everybody. And even Black S is like, he starts multiplying, and then all his clones just get diced up in an instant, so... And then the diced up pieces start multiplying, so then Carnage Kabuto... not Carnage Kabuto. Hellfire Flame and Galewind notice that, and they just start using punches and kicks instead, like Darkshine, and they should just win, right? Like, Black S can't multiply enough in time to overwhelm them. Like, they could just mitigate his numbers at the start of the fight, personally, I think. So, yeah, I do believe that they could just beat him. I believe Hellfire Flame and Galewind are like super underrated. Like top 10 most underrated characters in the series. Right, let's check out chat real quick. Fourth in the series, probably referring to Cosmic Boros. Behind God, Saitama and Garo. Maybe higher than him. Ayo, you can't call them that anymore. Call what anymore? Yeah, Pain in One Punch Man, in my opinion, low to high dragon level because of low durability. Perhaps. Pain has many abilities, yep. I hate the ninjas and Goketsu takes. Why? Why though? What's the issue? I never got that. Where's the moon calc Chibaku Tensei that guy used in the Pain vs. Tatsumaki video? I need that calc. Actually, I do think it's wrong, because we blatantly see the Nine Tails later. Like, in one panel we see the curvature of the earth visible from the Chibaku Tensei, and in another we see the Nine Tails' body making up a sizable chunk of the Chibaku Tensei. So the size of it is completely inconsistent. So yeah, it's kind of bad. A friend of mine also has done a multi-continental calc for it, but I haven't talked to him in a while, but I could maybe get it if he still has it. So much for all of them combined to get soloed by King in the end. Crazy. Yep. Hot take, Hellfire again Gale individually beat Golden S. I would honestly agree, because Golden S's scaling is like above Darkshine, whereas those two scale near Flashy Flash, who I think is way above Darkshine personally, so I would agree actually. Can you handle Fubuki 10 minutes without losing first shot? What is this? What? Huh? It just means that Garo and Platinum S were holding much more back. There is no reason for Garo to hold back at all. There is nothing for Garo to hold back. He is evolving mid-fight. He is perfecting his style, so I don't think he would be holding back. He would be perfecting his style. He would be getting stronger, if anything. Like, there's nothing to suggest he was holding back, personally. And, like, again, he hits Flashy and Platinum with the same exact combo in the same panel, and they both take pretty much the same damage. So yeah, they did better against Flash than Golden S would have. I would say so. By your logic, base Atomic Samurai isn't even a match for them? Yeah, I think so. I don't think he is. The ninjas are crazy. Flashy Flash is DC Flash with sword. To some extent. Depends on which Flash you're talking about, I would say. Pain is my favorite character. Yeah, my third favorite character in pretty much all of anime. How strong do you think Platinum S would have been if he fused all his cells before losing any? Substantially stronger, mostly because of the Golden S arm thing, where it said he lost 12 trillion. But he wouldn't be like that much stronger. But him against Tatsumaki or Pain, yeah, I do think Tatsumaki beats him. Who is the most underrated in One Punch Man? Hard to say off the top of my head, but like Hellfire and Gale are definitely high up there. I really want to make you see you make a video on Boros vs. Battle Beast. That could be fun. I need to read Invincible or at least watch the show. Hellfire and Galewind are most impressive if you think about it, since they fought Flash, who had a sword, which Platinum was correct. Would mean if Platinum was correct, it would mean Flashy Flash was weaker in the three-way. Yeah, to some degree. But I wouldn't say he would be faster, he would just be stronger. Like, you know, he able to deal more damage. Who are the most overrated characters besides Sage? Watchdog Man for me. Problem is that for the narrative they are small fries. Only recently, which I really dislike, like the recent manga chapters made jokes out of them, which I really dislike, but beforehand they were made to be a very big deal. Even Flashy Flash was like, yeah, your speed would be very hard to deal with for anybody but me. If anybody but me faced you, they would have had a hell of a time. So, yeah, they were extremely impressive. They even considered themselves to be, like, more valuable than Elder Centipede at one point, so... Their narrative is pretty much very, very high before the recent chapters, which sucks. What happened with the Madara vs. Boros video? I still want to make it. I still have part of the script already written. It's just that it'll take a while to get to. And what if Boros turned good platinum with all the cells as a match for Armored Boros or around there? Maybe. I probably stated that in a previous stream, right? Baboy, and I know you follow all the streams, so... Probably have done. Satri, are you a simp? To some, yes. I am back, did I miss anything? That was one hell of a line to come back to, my friend. Your favorite waifu, my Fubuki. I never know what to say to that one. I don't know, probably Neo from Ruby. Okay, I agree they're impressive, but Flashy's ego is almost second to none. He will always think it's clear to anyone when he really isn't. What? Sorry, I didn't really get that. Goro had them as conjure candidates. People like Bang, Darkshine would either tank, cut, or beat them. Darkshine scales below Flashy Flash in durability, because he took way more damage from a Golden S-Punch than Flashy Flash was taking from Platinum S-Punches. So, at least that's my take on it, so... And they damaged Flashy Flash, so yeah. And had them as conjure candidates, because she probably just didn't know their full extent. They were probably keeping it to themselves. Because they don't seem like the type to just flaunt their power around. So, yeah. Who's Neo? You can Google Neo Ruby. Were you impressed by the Webby Gaza art from Murata with the piercing eyes? Is this like the recent chapter where like the girl glares at Child Emperor? Is this the one? Or... Like how Flash mentions that only his speed can beat them, which isn't true. There are many characters faster than him, Flashy. And to his knowledge, no though. Like to his knowledge, he is the fastest. Because he only, like, who is faster than him at that point? Maybe, debatably, Bang. And of course, Saitama. But who else is faster? Only Blast and Platinum S later come up, and Goro. But aside from those guys, who else is faster? Like, I don't know. I don't think anybody else is, really. I mean, obviously, like, people like Boros, but, like, to Flashy Flash knowledge, people who Flashy Flash knows who is faster. I ain't gonna lie about Neo, I don't blame you, pal, for simping. Yeah. Okay, let's get back to the video, please. Someone said, yeah, let's get back to the video.
Now, passing on to the A tier, at number 11, we've got Phoenix Man. So, Phoenix Man is one of the most underrated monsters in the series. I mean, I don't know why people think he is a mid-dragon when he can eventually become the strongest in this list. His ability to resurrect and become stronger each time he dies, alongside resurrecting other dead monsters, is something so cracked that with time should raise him to levels beyond even displacement. You see, he was able to fight against Brave Giant. Child Emperor specifically stated 2 times that it was his trump card against the Monster King Orochi. Oh shit, sorry. White Emperor is a very smart and calculating character that would obviously take into account.
I didn't really get that one though, like, why was that one there? I didn't really get that one. Is it like the name thing for Child Emperor, White Emperor, that kind of thing?
How strong Orochi is compared to other dragon level monsters. And yet, Phoenix Man, not only did he fight him and should have won if Saitama didn't interfere, but also would have gotten even stronger if he revived other cadres and controlled them. You can even place him to be way higher than this if you interpret his statement of being the strongest being there is as valid, since he has already seen what Elder Centipede can do and probably has additional data on the cadres presented to him by Gero. So bottom line, if you want to place him higher than a character like Elder Centipede, this still should be fine. Now cracking the top.
Okay, this one is, I think I agree as well, because like, for example, Child Emperor, also saw Elder Centipede, like a projection of him and whatnot, and he's aware of what he's done. And he takes Brave Giant to fight the Monster King, so obviously he would think Brave Giant is stronger than Elder Centipede to be able to fight a monster that's stronger than him, right? In his eyes, and then Phoenix Man combats Brave Giant. But Child Emperor really shouldn't know, like, the exact durability of Elder Centipede. Like, he would just have seen him in action, but he wouldn't know the exact, like, jewel values needed to break his shell or whatever. So same with Phoenix Man. That is kind of like an issue, a little bit. But like, yeah, without the Elder Centipede meta, even then, base Phoenix Man is stated to be middle management, or he considers himself to be middle management. In the Monster Association, the ranks of the characters are always based on pure strength. Or like, pure battle, like, effectiveness, just like your combat ability. And he was considered middle management, higher than any of the demons, but below the cadres. So Phoenix Man, just in base, might be higher than like Bug God and Royal Ripper. And then he gets a boost so big that he goes from slamming into one of Child Emperor's shields and breaking his beak to slamming through 5 of them with ease. And then, yeah, he thinks he's the strongest creature. He should have knowledge on some of the other cadres, so yeah. But at the same time, he also thinks he's above Orochi, though, like base Orochi, so that kind of does put him in a little bit into question. But yeah, Phoenix Man definitely does deserve to be high. Higher than Vomited Fear Ugly? I wouldn't be so sure about that one, but yeah. And Hellfire Flame and Galewind, I'd probably still rank those two above Phoenix Man, as he is currently. But I didn't really see a way they could kill him.
Top 10, we start with the big 3 in the Monster Association executives, Elder Centipede, Goketsu, and Rover. These 3 characters are very controversial, with Goketsu being the most ambiguous when it comes to properly scaling him. Narratively speaking, Goketsu is implied to be a monster far stronger than any we've seen before, besides obviously Boros, since his power was described by Suiryu to be against the rules, and even Genos thought that his strength resembles that of Saitama's, also saying that he has never met a monster as strong as him, which means he clearly puts him above the Meteor Saitama Punch and Carnage Kabuto. The other statement of gathering the S-class heroes with Saitama to have a chance against him is very irrelevant because it's simply just not true. Gero also specifically tells Goketsu that he would have a hard time if he fights against multiple S-class heroes, and she was visibly shocked that someone could.
Dude, I'm sorry. The editing is so good. Let me gush about that again. Dude, the way he has the heroes just like flash into panel one by one. Dude, come on. How can you not love his editing, dude? Yasin's editing is top tier.
Just not true. Gero also specifically tells Goketsu that he would have a hard time if he fights against multiple S-class heroes, and she was visibly shocked that someone could eventually defeat him and couldn't think of anyone who could have done this. You see, the reason I think...
Yeah. So, the lore for Goketsu is wild, because like, as Yasin's about to get to, Gero thinks people can defeat Elder Centipede, or there are people who could do that, but then for Goketsu, who could do this? Oh, So, that's one thing. Another thing is, after the statement of Gero saying even you would struggle against several S-class heroes, Goketsu's like, you're underestimating me, or don't be so sure, depending on the translation. So... even he, by his own, like, view of himself is like, don't be so sure that I would struggle against multiple S-class, those weak, pathetic buffoons, So, Goketsu's lore is kind of insane, I will admit that much. Like, in terms of lore, Goketsu is wild.
I think this statement holds.
And also Orochi is like, I do not see Goketsu among my beasts, like... Goketsu goes missing, and then he's like, oh, what's up, what's going on, why is he not here, He's somebody important enough for Orochi to remember, which, could be because he was kind of like the one who turned him into a monster personally, and like, probably sort of like a mentor figure, kinda, like Goketsu's his protege, like he's the one who beat him and gave him power and whatnot, and then Goketsu swore loyalty, so like maybe he would remember him more, but like again, Gero's statement still stands.
weight is because when both of them got taken down, Gero was under the impression that the Hero Association possesses a trump card even above the S-class heroes. For Elder Centipede, she already knows there are 4 characters that can certainly defeat him, so why would she include the possibility of the Hero Association having an ace that is even above the S-class heroes? But think about it this way, when Goketsu is defeated, she didn't think, oh, maybe King, Metal Knight, Tatsumaki or Blast defeated him. Granted, you can exclude Tatsumaki since Gero may have prior data of her whereabouts, but instead, she started thinking this way, that the Hero Association had someone who is above even the S-class heroes, simply because, as her statement suggests, she doesn't think even King can defeat Goketsu, which places Elder Centipede at number 10, Goketsu at 9, and Rover at 8. Now, in regard...
Yeah, there is a lot for Goketsu, like the lore is insane. I will say Gyoro's statements of power can sometimes be questioned. I used to not be of this opinion, but lately I've looked back at why she thinks Tatsumaki is so impressive, for example, and she says it's because, well, she doesn't say it specifically, but like, the reason, or part of the reason she views Tatsumaki so highly is because Tatsumaki defeated 100 Eyes Octopus. Like, she watched that happen and she was like, this Tatsumaki, she easily defeated that demon. And a rather strong one too. Maybe I should face her. So it's kind of like a weird statement in that sense. And then, but yeah, I do agree Goketsu lore-wise is pretty insane, pretty busted. Like, there's not really any way to debunk it. I used to be against it, but not anymore, really. Goketsu, the most conversational power scale ever. Here we go, Genos would say the same thing about Neon. Anyone who can easily one-shot him, equal to Saitama who can easily one-shot him. Genos never got hit by the meteor. Bang & Emits meteor isn't much above him. I mean, you can make these claims, but like, there's so much more for Goketsu that even if you exclude Genos' claims, like, they're not the main reason he's this high. If it was the only reason, I would say, yeah, it's not worth placing Goketsu this high, but the Gyoro stuff is what really makes it impressive. Didn't you have some late Atomic beating this version of Phoenix Man in your story? I did. I still think he probably could. Like, I don't think that... what do I want to say? I saw someone mention Neo in chat and I couldn't think anymore. That's how much of a simp I am. But anyway, what was I talking about? I do think that Hellfire Flame and Galewind are like in a similar tier and above Sunblight Atomic. And I do think that these guys could all beat Phoenix Man as he is right now. I do agree. But I still think Phoenix Man is high up on the list. I do think he's below Hellfire and Galewind, but not like below most others. I think he's still like top half of the list for sure. The max you can get a Goketsu to is EC level. Above EC level probably for the maximum, but yeah. Wait, what? Huh? Yo, can you guys hear me? Because something just went out on my computer for a second there. Can you guys hear me well? Because something on my stream just died. It was like an error. Yes, we can. Okay, thank God. I thought the stream just cut out for a second. Neo is a Neapolitan from Ruby, if so I can't blame you. Yeah. How can Phoenix Man win against any high dragon? Depends on what you consider a high dragon. Mostly by evolving. Nah, Boros is the best Wadi. This concept is goofy but interesting. If God were to give all of his powers to all the people in Monster Association, do they still lose to Saitama? Probably. Unless you mean like he channels all of his power into them. Like, not like a cosmic boost, but like every single ounce of his power into them, then maybe. All are King's Aura victims. Orochi was worried for his spooky Goketsu. Is Boros going to be like Gojo? In the what if? I don't know. Satori focusing on the real things. Satori's tech way over the stream. Yeah. Okay, let's get back to the video then, if it's all good.
Parts of Elder Centipede and Rover, and which one should be the strongest between the two, a lot of people uses
the big debate right here. Elder Centipede versus Rover.
their fights against Bang and Bomb as a comparison and say that Rover should be weaker since the two martial artists didn't seem as worried as they were against Elder Centipede. Well, if you look at it from a narrative perspective, as Phoenix Man mentioned, matchups matter in the One Punch Man series. The only reason Elder Centipede was such a problem and only 4 heroes can defeat him is due to his enormous size and quick regen ability. Silver Fang and Bomb, at the end of the day, are designed to fight humanoid opponents or maybe say monsters that doesn't exceed a certain size. But unlike EC, Rover is a monster they can deal with if they go all out. The other reason they were so concerned is because against Elder Centipede, the city and its citizen, alongside a bunch of other heroes, were in danger, in contrast to Rover, where they have the time to think of other strategies and explore other options. So bottom line, the reason they couldn't defeat him is simply due to him being a bad matchup for them. Doesn't necessarily mean Elder Centipede scales to the Garu who eventually fought Bang. But you see, the reason I think Rover should be scaled higher than Elder Centipede.
Okay, we'll continue in a bit. First of all, I do think this is a valid way to look at it. Like, this matchup I think is a very big toss-up. I think Elder Centipede versus Rover is like one of the best debates you can have in One Punch Man. Because I do think there are arguments for both. But personally, for me, is like, okay, they were worried about the civilians, but only after they were running away already. Because, like, they rescued the heroes and put them in a safer place and then just went all in, went to town on Elder Centipede. And then they were like, no, we cannot defeat this thing, let's run. And then the city comes into view and they're like, oh no, we can't run. So it's like they were still running even before the city was really in danger. But yeah. Another thing as well, for them not being like as worried against a Rover, I do agree that it's matchup dependent to some extent, but the thing is, it's matchup dependent for the entire verse, right? So like, for example, Flashy Flash, I could totally see him stabbing out Rover's eyes and then over time eventually like doing enough scratches to kill him. But with Elder Centipede, what is Flashy Flash doing? What is like Rover doing? Because Rover's blasts, they don't really have any showings, really, aside from Fubuki thinking they would kill Bang, which Fubuki doesn't know how strong Bang is, and Bang and Bomb also think that it could do damage to them, but at the same time they're just basing it off the explosions. Like, they wouldn't know how strong the blasts actually are, they just look intimidating, and, like, narratively you could say it's implied, but, like, if you really want to get down to it, it's like, we don't really know how exactly strong the blasts are. They also catch one with their bare hands, so it can't really be that hot if they are able to catch it with their bare hands and throw it away. And then even Fubuki is like reacting to Rover, and which, by the way, is impressive for Fubuki. It's not downplaying Rover, it's upscaling Fubuki, but it's still something to keep in mind. Whereas Elder Centipede, he's not getting hurt by the blasts, for one, because we don't really know if they could. Even if they could hurt him slightly, it's still not going to be enough to put him down, really, in my opinion. But then also, what is Bang & Bomb doing? What is anybody who doesn't have extremely high scale doing to Elder Centipede? What is Vomited Fear Ugly or Evil Natural Water or anybody in the verse doing to Elder Centipede's size and regeneration? Aside from Metal Knight, Tatsumaki, Blast King, Saitama, like the people with the extremely high yield of power, I guess, the same guys who could kill Rover could all kill Elder Centipede too, or the same guys who could kill Elder Centipede could all kill Rover as well. So, sorry, I worded that wrong. The same guys who could kill Elder Centipede could all kill Rover, but not all the same guys who could kill Rover could kill Elder Centipede, if that makes sense, in my opinion. So, the thing is, it's matchup dependent, but the matchup is worse for everyone in the verse, because, like, Elder Centipede, nobody is killing him. There are so few people who could actually put Elder Centipede down that the matchup thing I don't think even really matters that much personally, because he's a bad matchup for everybody. Like, when you are a hard counter to like 99% of the verse, and there's like 10% of the verse that actually does have high enough large scale attacks to actually kill you, I don't think that's really accountable for like nerfing his stance in the verse, if that makes sense. Like, how to say this better? I could have written a script, but I didn't, so... Basically, he's a bad matchup for everybody, so I don't think that the matchup thing is really nerfing his placement. I think it should buff it, if anything. Because, like, he's equally bad to, like, everybody, right? The only people on the list that I could actually see beating Elder Centipede are maybe Goketsu, because he does have large-scale, like, shockwaves and stuff. And then Psycho's Goro and Platinum probably. Platinum should, Orochi obviously as well. But like the entire rest of the list, Rover included, I don't think can put Elder Centipede down. And then most S-class heroes I don't think can put Elder Centipede down. Like, he's just a bad matchup for everybody. So personally, I do think that Elder in general should scale above Rover compared to most of the verse. Because even if he's physically less durable and like weaker, nobody is killing him. He's like Zombie Man, but without the weakness of actually being able to be disintegrated by anybody with decent scale and AP. Because to kill Elder, you need massive scale in AP. So, which almost nobody has. Aside from like the top tiers. So that's my personal take on it. Like, even if you go by the metric of like who could generally beat more people, I think Elder Centipede has that in the bag. But Rover is generally more durable and faster and can output more damage. I would say that, but Elder Centipede is just a damage sponge. Like, he just cannot be killed by most people. So, yeah. I used to think EC, but now I think it's Rover, not gonna lie. Rover better Dura, speed, and AP. EC is just massive. Yeah, but like that's the thing. Just him being massive just is enough to counter most of the verse. This is one of my favorite matchups, probably. Stalemate or Elder Centipede eventually wins. Yeah, that's my take on it as well, I would say. Who would win current Flashy Flash and Speed of Sound Sonic or Platinum S? That's a really weird one, because you can say like Hellfire and Gale came back and they now think they can beat Flashy Flash, so therefore they must be way stronger than in the Monster Association, and then Flash blitzes them. So you could say maybe Flash got like a blitz and a one-shot tier stronger, you know, like you can make a really weird argument. And if you think that he's one-shot tier faster and stronger, like a blitz tier and one-shot tier above himself from the Monster Association arc, and Sonic is relative, then maybe they could beat Platinum, but even then it's a hard fight either way. Watchdog Man murking the cadres, not gonna lie. Personally, I don't think so. Do you think Metal Knight has enough to beat EC? Maybe with his full arsenal, probably should. By the way, another note, Metal Knight used his missiles to test on the Meteor, right? Like, he used the Meteor to test his missiles. Since then, he's probably been upgrading them with the intent of them being able to do the thing that they weren't able to do in the last test, which is blow up the Meteor. Like, it just makes sense. Like, yeah, I want to improve them to the point that they can actually pass the test that they failed previously. So if you think he's working toward that goal and Elder Centipede was just tanking all those missiles, that's also something. Like, if you want to just, like, make a supplementary point. Unless Rover can send out a whole Bijou bomb, I don't think he can put Elder down. Without seeing Flashy Flash forbidden moves, I can't say. My logic is that unless he gets Empty Void's blades, he ain't beating Platinum S. Maybe. We can't really match up him. We can't do crap to him. He is way too big. His region is OP. I agree with your point. Yeah, kinda. By the way, the crazy thing is too, Genos blasted his insides. Like, he blasted his brain out through his eye sockets, and Elder still regenerated. So he does not have a regeneration core like Sage, or sorry, like Clown Centipede. He does not have a core. He can just regenerate endlessly, and as long as there's like a decent chunk of him left. Which is pretty crazy. One Punch Man scaling is harder than learning digital art. I don't know. It depends on what factors are more important in your scaling, I suppose. Yeah, to some degree. I feel like if the size thing is so important, then the octopus from Season 2 would scale above Hellfire and Gale because Flashy Flash couldn't kill him. I mean, he was about to with the Flashy Slash, and he would have made him bleed to death anyway, like, eventually. So... Or he could have just, like, chopped his way into his insides and, like, just destroyed huge chunks of him from the insides. From the inside. Like, it's not like Flashy Flash was struggling there. He just had, like, a little bit of a rough start. That's pretty much all. Whereas Elder Centipede actually has a hard shell and regen and is way bigger, too. So, yeah. EC is annoying to match up, yeah. I think that Homeless Emperor has the perfect counter to Elder Centipede. Yeah, that is possible. I do think Homeless Emperor is like one of the rare people who do have a win con against Elder Centipede. Like Sage, I'm sorry, Clown Centipede. Clown Centipede, skull face. Blasted his insides in quotation marks. Yeah, I said what I said. Elder Centipede might be the SCP-682 of One Punch Man, to some degree, yeah. Eternal Flame, don't put that image into my head, dude. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention and I heard that, I had to. One cell of EC is alive and he'll frickin' return, bro, is William Afton. I mean, maybe not one cell, but like as long as there's like a decent chunk of him left, he should be just fine. Because he doesn't actually need a brain to regenerate, which is crazy. Let's back to the video, please, again. Yeah, soon. Homeless guy is good counter to Elder. Yeah. Okay, let's get back into it now.
Is because Murata stated that the attack Bang and Bomb used against EC is weaker than the attack they used against Rover. Even though the former seems stronger than the latter, since Murata stated it, I wouldn't really argue with it. So simply put, Elder Centipede needs...
Yeah, like Yasin said, like, the Aura Fist seems stronger in every regard. It's more built up the first time it's used. It's only used once by Bang and Bomb. They have like firm footing and this cool pose and everything. And then Garo specifically learns this and not the Dragon Slayer Fist. He specifically starts using the Roaring Aura Fist to go against Darkshine. And it's like the ultimate martial art, like the peak of everything. So like, the Murata statement exists and like, yeah, you can't really contradict it. But I feel like he just, like, forgets about the statement later and just goes with the Aura Fist for everything else. Like, Garo, even in the Sage fight, he's still using the Roaring Aura Fist. Like, at that point, the Roaring Fist is still stronger than Garo's Imperfected Godslayer Fist. Because, like, why would he go back to using that if his Godslayer Fist was stronger? Like, it wouldn't really make sense. So, yeah, apparently, like, the Aura Fist is just, like, weaker in Murata's statement, but then in the series, it's so much stronger, it seems. But, like, yeah, we can't really deny it, like Yasin said, it's like, it would be kind of wrong to object to Murata's direct statement.
needed to regenerate from it, and
But it
Rover
just
was
seems
totally
weird.
unaffected from his stronger attack, even though he was injured and not in his full strength. This is substantiated by Rover tanking Saitama's punch that Orochi himself described as being a tremendous shock. Orochi himself also concluded that Saitama, being the one who defeated both Goketsu and Elder Centipede, made sense after confirming that he is the source behind that shockwave. This attack was capable of shaking the entire monster association.
Oh my god. I hate ads. I hate ads so much. No, get rid of it. Sorry. Get rid of the ad. I'm so sorry, everybody. But yeah, I do agree. Rover is definitely way more durable than Elder Centipede. Maybe not way more, but definitely a lot more durable. But yeah, it's just like Elder is just a worse matchup for everybody.
And gathering the attention of most heroes and monsters in the area. Yes, there are problems with Rover as he was reacted to by early Garu and even tanked some of his hits, but I feel like Garu before dying gained fire and heat resistance as stated by Giro later on. Also, Rover was just playing around and seemingly throwing energy balls at the random aim. So at the end of the day, in my estimation, Rover should be stronger than Goketsu, who is stronger than EC. But if you want to switch placements between Rover and Goketsu, it's also totally fine, and it depends on which.
Yeah, there's also one statement where, like, when Gyoro she feels like the giant punch from Saitama, or it was some situation, I didn't remember which one exactly, but it's like, she hears something, and then she's like, don't tell me Rover has fallen. Like, she's like kind of surprised about it. I don't remember the context, but it definitely does exist. It's like right before Tatsumaki arrives at Gyoro's location. So it's like she knows the S-Class are very powerful and she still goes like, don't tell me Rover has been defeated. So you can also use that. Personally, I do think Elder Centipede in terms of stats is the lowest of these. But in terms of a matchup, like nobody can beat him is the thing. Like the people who could beat Elder could also beat Goketsu and Rover, whereas the people who could beat Goketsu and Rover couldn't really beat Elder, or like not all of them could, at least in my eyes. So like, it's really weird, but I agree that in general, stats-wise, it would go Elder Centipede at the bottom, then Rover, then Lore Goketsu. But in terms of like who could beat the most people, I would rank Goketsu and Rover below Elder Centipede. And between Goketsu and Rover, then it would be Goketsu higher still because of the crazy Gyoro statements. So that would be my take on it. Oh gosh, not the ad. Relatable moment, mobile game ads. Elder Centipede actually God's Oodle? What? Gyoro asks help from Rover when she lost the dots and then wonders who could have beaten Rover. No, that's another situation than the one I was describing, but yeah, like, she does call for Rover, but she only calls for him as like a distraction for Tatsumaki. Like, she doesn't think he'll do anything. But like, she just remembers, I let Rover roam free. He should be free. I should be able to call him, and then he refuses. So yeah. We can move on now.
Which interpretation you want to go with. Now at number 7 and 6.
Like Rover is definitely very, very impressive. Like, don't get me wrong. And I do agree that all these three guys are above everybody else on the list so far. Like that's I definitely agree 100%. And I also agree with this placing of Gyoro and Psychos at...
6, we've got Gyoro and Psychos. You see, Gyoro believes that she can take down Tatsumaki, who can take down Elder Centipede. Therefore, she obviously has knowledge of how strong EC is, and she comfortably thinks she can defeat him. But admittedly, the problem I have with this placement is that being stronger than Elder Centipede doesn't mean she should be stronger than Rover or Goketsu. Although when she was defeated, it was implied that the only remaining monster to defeat Tatsumaki would be Orochi, as he is clearly stronger than she is, and the other executives such as Rover would at best only serve as a distraction, nothing more, nothing less. But if you feel like Rover should be above Gyoro or it's the other way around, it still should probably be fine. However, Psychos should be leagues above her previous state, as she says that Gyoro was literally nothing. Even though she was eventually defeated, since this is Tatsumaki we're talking about, she still performed much.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you're facing Tatsumaki, it's almost as bad as facing Saitama, let's be honest. Like, Tatsumaki, I'm gonna get into it in an upcoming video, but Jesus Christ, Tatsumaki is broken compared to everybody else in the verse except like the top 10 god tier characters. Like, you know, Blast, his crew, Saitama, Garo, evil, the empty void god, you know, those kind of people, and Boros, of course. but like she is the top of the top in terms of like the regular cast. So like losing to her is not an anti-feat for anybody. And yeah, Psychos, and another note, when she eventually comes into contact with Orochi, she thinks she can overpower his psyche and like be the dominant one in the fusion. So if you think that has anything to do with strength, you could say she thinks she is stronger than base Orochi, and she should know how strong base Orochi is. Obviously, Orochi was like suppressing himself and hiding his true strength from her, which she also notes that like you were hiding this much strength. But yeah, it's still busted either way. Like it's just Psychos has all the lore needed to put her this high.
Much better than before, and being able to stay on your feet for a considerable time against a monster like Tatsumaki is very, very impressive.
Yep.
Now, cracking the top 5 strongest dragon level monsters, we start this list with Golden S. Well, I get it, other than the plot build-up, there isn't any feat that should place him above the big 3 Cadres, Goketsu, Rover, and Elder Centipede, since he is very weird to scale. Sure, Sunblade Atomic Samurai cut off his hand, but we don't concretely know how strong the Sunblade is. He also certainly one-shotted a scared Darkshine and dominated Fuhrer Ugly, but the ceiling of his true power is never really shown. So since he's unquantifiable in my opinion, based on the implications of being one of the strongest monsters in the series, I chose to place him right in this position, since I don't really think he is far away from Platinum S's Strength, who is next in this list. So at the end of the day, I'll be fine if you think he should be placed way below. Number 4.
Now, personally, I do think Golden S is a lot weaker than Platinum for various reasons. For one, like Atomic Samurai looks at Golden S and then looks at Platinum and he's like, oh my god, what immense ki! Or what immense aura, you know, depending on the translation. And then Platinum S just has a lot of lore and like statements and stuff that would put him way above Golden S. So personally, I do have Golden S lower, but it's fine. Having him be this high is fine. Like I don't have really that many concerns with it. Personally, I just don't think he does scale to Platinum S. Another thing too is he was very wary of King after hearing, or like because of knowing that he beat Elder Centipede in one punch, which is pretty crazy as well, because like Golden S or like the Black S clones are like, wait, hold on, he beat Centichoro in one punch, this could be bad. And Golden S, knowing that, is like, yeah, we should be super cautious with him, more cautious than Tatsumaki. Obviously not just because of Elder Centipede, because of his general reputation as well. But Elder Centipede is like a big part of the equation. He's worthy enough to be brought up. So I don't think Golden S is like casually above Elder Centipede. Like I think Elder Centipede is at the very least still in the discussion with Golden S. Even if you do take his higher, like highballs. And he's only really confident he can beat King after fusing into Platinum.
4 is obviously Platinum S due to the clear supremacy of speed over all the dragon level monsters. Other than the top tiers of the whole verse, his level of speed has never been
Boros being there is based. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Boros. Boros. I see Boros. I smile. But yeah, Platinum S, like, self-explanatory. I think he is more impressive than most people give him credit for, actually, because, like, Garo takes 2 punches to kill him, and then immediately after he goes on to damage Clown Centipede, and then Clown Centipede scales to like bare minimum multicontinental, more likely small planetary. I'll get into that later, like in my own video. But yeah, like if you think Platinum S is like a one-shot tier or a little bit less than a one-shot tier below Fraud Centipede, then you can scale him to like moon level, maybe even low small planetary. So he definitely has the attack potency to just kill everybody else on the list for sure. And of course, the speed of doesn't even need to be brought up, actually. Like, we all know it.
Showcased or replicated by any character in this whole list, other than the obvious elephant in the room. He's also physically extremely durable, as he was able to take hits from Flashy Flash, Garu's punches, and the Godslayer Fist. Platinum S was eventually defeated by Garu, but that's practically a Garu that can defeat the majority of characters in the series. One quick note before passing to number 3 and 2, I also think even though he is number 4, he would still be a tough opponent against number 3 and 2 due to him being being significantly faster than them, which leads us to number 3 being the Monster King Orochi, who I think embodies the definition of being a dragon level monster much more than Platinum S could. Since not only is he gigantic, but he's also considered to be a martial arts genius who possesses ridiculous levels of durability and great destructive capabilities, stated by both Gero and Goketsu to being the strongest monster on Earth. In theory, he should be stronger than Platinum S, but due to the latter's clear supremacy of speed, it could go either way and eventually stalemate each other. Jumping to number 2.
Yeah, personally, I do have Orochi above Platinum, but only because he's so tanky and like powerful that I don't think Platinum could really damage him that much. But I totally agree, like, it can be argued to go either way. And especially if you think Sage's fraud centipede is stronger than Orochi. But that's a whole other topic. But yeah, I do think that Platinum has definitely like easy number 4, and then Orochi at number 3 is definitely like as well an easy pick. And then Psycho Orochi, I promise you, she is way stronger than you think. At least in my eyes, the way I scale her, oh holy, like, I'll get into it soon, I promise, like probably this week sometime.
We've got Psycho Orochi, which is a fusion between Psychos and Orochi.
Censorship. I love the censorship on this. I always wonder, like, should I censor, should I not, whenever she's on the panel? I never really choose to censor, but still, it's so hilarious that she is censored.
Powers from God, thinks he became strong enough to defeat Saitama and implied in the story to being much stronger than before. But since Psychos is the one in control, she sadly heavily relies on her psychic abilities rather than Orochi's genius level of martial arts. But only
yeah, could you imagine Sairochi actually utilizing martial arts as well, and like Orochi's whole unique ability set? Like, oh my god.
Scale and how it's implied in the story, she should be much stronger than Orochi.
And now the big one. Yes sir, Boros, of course. It makes me happy. I love this edit so much. I've already reacted to it once, so sorry you didn't get my original reaction, but I love it so much. It's amazing. I absolutely love it. Oh god, the ad again at the bottom of the screen. But yeah, overall, I definitely like the video. Like, personally, I would have a bunch of placements differ, but that's fine. There's like nearly 30 characters on the list. Like, obviously, a bunch of the placements are gonna differ, so... Overall, I definitely do think it's a solid video. And I have left a like and subscribed and everything, you know, this is a guest account, so that's why I can't really do that. If I try to like it, I need to sign in, so, yeah. I need to make more accounts to like again, but yeah. Anyway, I definitely do like this video a lot. Like, this wasn't a debunk or anything, it's just me providing like my own alternate interpretation of how I would scale them. So yeah, that was kind of the video. So now let me get into the... into chat a little bit. How is Armored Boros beating EC or Gyro? Please Hattori get mad while answering. You piece of crap! How dare you! How dare you doubt my goat Boros? He took a punch from Saitama. Full killing intent. For sure. Stronger than the punch that killed Orochi. Definitely, objectively stronger. Orochi stated above those guys. What are you talking about? You stupid... Okay, I'll stop. You asked me to get mad, so I did. Elder and Sage scaling very hard. Why you put God above Saitama? Cause a being with a fraction of God's power forced Saitama to grow exponentially stronger to beat him. That's pretty much my main reasoning. Elder will crawl down Sage's throat and eat him from the inside. Holy. How strong is One Punch Man? God, universe level, multiverse, hyper level, out reversal. I mean, by the end of the series, I definitely think he'll be multiversal. Like, why else would they be introducing the multiverse? Like, he'll for sure be revealed to be like a multiversal threat. But for now, I think probably more so like still universal, universal plus, you know, stuff like that. In Sage Fight, he used both styles. Yeah, he did, but like, it's more about the level of the dude using it. To some degree, but like, why would he default back to using a weaker martial art if his own martial art was stronger at that point? I do think him using the orifice is still valid evidence. Sage is just easier to match up. We can at least know that he can't regen if his core is oofed. TC doesn't need literal brain to regenerate. Yeah. Oh, that was far too low. Oh my god, I was far too low in the chat. Holy. Tatsumaki is the most powerful character in One Punch Man and still today. I mean, one of the most powerful, yeah. She gatekeeps the god tiers. For the monsters, it's probably worse because at least Saitama fights super quick. Yeah, Tatsumaki just twists them into oblivion instead. Boros, our goat. Come on, bro. Golden S without plot hype is below Goketsu. Goketsu without plot hype is losing to Darkshine. Without plot hype, without all the statements. So, Golden S has nothing. Even the plot hype is just us expecting him to be really powerful. What plot hype does Golden S have is my question. Whereas Goketsu actually does have numerous statements for being the GOAT, you know, for them. Okay, I'm so far behind. I'm gonna have to skip a few replies, sorry. Clown Centipede again. Even if my movement method was handstand, I'd still be able to run away from Clown Centipede. Yep. No explanation needed, just Boros things. No explaining is needed, Boros is just the best. Do you not use an ad blocker? I do, but it's on my main, window. Or, my main account. It's not... At least I think that's how it works, but I'm not sure. I'm new to adblock. I only got it, a month ago. I gotta go to sleep. It's nighttime here. Have a good one. Goodbye, hamster. Have a good sleep. Good rest. Do you think Boros would need to shed his armor for Sairochi? I definitely do. 60 live viewers. Yo, let's go. Has your interpretation changed about Blast versus Boros? I mean, I think it's a little bit closer than I used to, but I still think Blast definitely wins. Honestly, it would be awesome if Satori made a what if Boros encountered the Monster Association before he fought Saitama. I mean, to some degree that did happen in the what if. It's not exactly the same as it would have been in the original if it happened, but it's still, decently similar. This might be a hot take here, but Empty Void beats Boros, really badly. I mean, yeah. He does. Will this be a video? You mean the stream? Because I am leaving it up. So it will be up as a video after the stream is done. Psycho said that Black S and Homeless Emperor could beat anyone. Yeah, but that's a really weird statement, because it's how though? How are they beating Orochi, for example? There's nothing to suggest that they could. So it's really weird for me to really, even think about it. The statement is just so... there's nothing to support it in the series. But in any case, that was the commentary on the Dragon List, so... Does anybody else have any other ideas, any questions? We have been streaming for 2 hours now, so... I will probably be going relatively soon. But let me know if you would like me to, do reactions or commentaries on more videos. Not pre-watch this time. Because I only thought of this, as I was, already halfway through the video. So... It didn't end up panning out that way. Sometimes stuff like that is just to gas up characters, just so we can be oh wow. Yeah. Sometimes it is. But yeah, let me know if you have any other questions, but I'll probably be going pretty soon. Were there any problems with the structure of this? Maybe I shouldn't have been reading chat throughout the video. Maybe I should have just been just focused entirely on the video and then afterwards read the chat. Hey, any suggestions on what I could do differently, what I should do differently, what you would like me see, what you would like to see me do differently if I ever do this kind of topic again, or like anything you would like to see? How strong do you think Blue is? I am not sure at this point. He was just introduced in the manga and I have not read the webcomic for him. So, yeah, I don't really know. What if Boros turned good season 1? Boros shattered a black hole, and since no matter how big a black hole is, it converts all matter and energy and grows no matter what. So all thought this is a wacky way of scaling. I don't really understand that fully. So sorry. I'm too dumb. Are you gonna make more reaction on Yasin? I watch a lot of his videos and I would really like your opinion on the scaling. I have seen most of his One Punch Man stuff already, so it wouldn't really be reactions. But maybe. This was fun. I do like Yasin. Because like this video as well, it was definitely not like bad or anything. Like it's a very good video. But I just have like an alternate interpretation that I wanted to share for a bunch of the characters. So that's how this came about. You could get him to Universal to 4D just by smashing a black hole? Any predictions on how Blast versus Void will go? I hope that Void is on the winning end. Like, I hope Void is winning and not being a pushover. Like, I want to see Blast on the ropes. I want to see Blast pushed. So that's what I'm hoping happens. Random thought, Orochi versus Kaido would be a sick fight to see. Orochi beats Kaido, though it would be sick. I don't know Kaido's scaling well enough to comment on that, but it would be a sick fight. I do know a little bit about Kaido, so I do think it would be very fun. The hype is that Goketsu, Golden Ass, Homeless Emperor, Evil Natural Water are all god-made, and they three faced King at the peak of the Monster Association. Also, Homeless Emperor, Golden Ass were shown to be unbeatable, and Atomic Samurai even used as reveal one of his end of series blades for Golden Ass. So he is over Goketsu, Elder Centipede Golden Ass? What? GS. I don't know what that last one is referring to. I mean, the only evidence we have of them being god-made, of Platinum and Black S specifically, is like that one statement of it that, yeah, they're like creations of God, and then we have like that one cell image. So like, yeah, I guess you can make that connection, but like, I don't really see that much hype in it. Because like, Vaccine Man is also God-made, who is pretty fodder in my opinion, so it's kind of weird. And unbeatable, I wouldn't say that much. Like, Golden S has nothing to show him being unbeatable. All he does is come in, not one-shot Fear Ugly, and then get his arm chopped off, so it's kind of a very big disappointment, if anything, to me, personally speaking. Golden S and Homeless Emperor shown to body so easily, basically high dragons. Yeah. Like, it's good scaling. Like, I'm not saying they're weak, but, like, I don't think they're as strong as the other guys. Satri, you could get Boros to hyper-reversal by smashing a black hole. I do not believe that. Like, even if there is science to back it up, usually in fiction it's just, like, large star level and not more. Like black holes and stuff in fiction, like the way authors interpret them a lot of the time, or like depict them. A coin-sized black hole would rip the Earth apart instantly, so yeah. By the way, I'd like to see more streams like this. That's interesting. Writers just use black holes as the thing above star level without knowing the intricacies behind them, which is okay. Yeah, that's the thing, like, that's how I use it pretty much as well. Blast is winning until Void goes into his cosmic form that he had in the flashback. Then Saitama probably shows up. That would be hype. Consistent Kaido, Moon Plus, and 40 times FTL. P Kaido, Star Plus, and 160,000 times FTL. One Piece is very wide-ranging. That's interesting to see. I do know the star level metas, but the speed metas I'm not really too familiar with. Off topic, but have you seen the recent events in Vita Carnage? I have not seen the most recent couple videos, but I have seen all of Season 1. I like it very much. Vita Carnage is awesome. The impeccable size of the overly engorged meat snake shocked scientists all over the planet. I still remember that from the game theory streams. They were just dying from that. Fifth time asking for this. Top 5 strongest meme characters, things in fiction. If you have... Okay, I won't post it here because there's way too much to post to save each image separately. But basically, I made a little comic about like Hades versus Boros, the two characters that I glazed the most. And I did give my list there. So like Farmer with a Shotgun, Ramen Guy... You have Shaggy, you have Shrek, Joe Goat, so all those guys. Hyperversal Black Hole is insane cap. It sounds that way, yeah. I don't even believe the saying black hole is universal. Black holes are galaxy at most. Maybe like I'm not knowledgeable enough on the science of black holes to really go into it. Have you seen Animats Boros vs. Garo? I have, and I have even used clips of it back in Season 1 of Boros. I love it. It's one of my favorite fan animations, for sure. Just wanted to drop some highballs on your Boros. I interpreted that very differently, I am sorry. I misinterpreted that greatly. I've seen a bit of the newest episode of Vita Carnage, and all I'll tell you is like they're experimenting on the creatures. Yeah, I need to watch them. I probably will after the stream, actually. You gave me a good idea to what to do after the stream. TLDR for 1 Piece speed, wounded base 3 times Zoro dodged a light speed attack, Luffy gets 100 times faster and 3D2Y. Then surpasses Gear 4 form and base twice. So it's C times 40 times 40 times 100. Alright. What if Saitama next new amp is not becoming multiversal? Instead, he simply breaks the 4th wall? I mean, maybe. He already has done it a couple times. The funniest meme thing in the fiction is the tree which killed 682. I am not aware of that one. All that to be a KCM2 victim? I am not well versed enough in One Piece scaling to comment on Naruto versus One Piece. Boros scales to above multiversal for breaking Saitama's pelvis. Yes, sir. Oh, hold on. I can put it on right now. I can put it on for you right now. Hold on. I'm gonna show you guys the real upscale for Boros. A lot of you might not be aware this even happened, but it did. And it's factual info. It's factual, verifiable. Okay, let's... Yep, they're turning down the volume for this. Okay, if we go through the Boros fight, yes, I have it saved on my computer. Why wouldn't I have it saved on my computer? Go through it frame by frame during this kick. Oh, hold on, I can't go frame by frame in the... Let me see if I can catch it. Where does it happen exactly? It was the other panel. It's like in here. There we go, there we go. You see this? You see this? Boros shattered Saitama's pelvis. The only reason Saitama didn't feel it is because of how fast it happened and how fast he adapted and healed afterwards. Because we know he has no limiter, so his exponential growth kicked in and he became stronger. Meteoric Burst Boros is above Saitama. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Meteoric Burst Boros is verifiably above the version of Saitama that he fought because he broke his pelvis. And the only reason Saitama survived this is because of his exponential growth kicking in. And it all happened so fast that he didn't even notice it, and he felt a pain, but then it immediately vanished. So that's why he said it's almost a real fight. Like, he thought he felt a brief pain, but no, he actually almost died, and he just adapted and he didn't know. Therefore, Boros is 100% above Saitama when they fought. And then Saitama's emotions went back down, so therefore his power went back down. So then afterwards, you know, when people scale to him, it doesn't mean that they scale to Boros. Boros is the only one who ever did this to Saitama. Boros is the strongest. There we go. Definitive proof. 100%. You cannot disprove it. Well, damn, I guess we got physical evidential proof. Yes, you do. LMAO, not LMAO, it's facts. You don't believe it? You don't laugh. You don't laugh at this. You believe it. That's what you do. You believe it. Okay? Or higher, yes. They scale higher. Oh, and that was in reference to another chat. I believe they are talking about supergravity, which can make black holes 11D. What? I do not know that. I am not aware of any of that. Also, one of his ribs is missing, therefore it snapped from Boros' attack. Yes, it did. Naruto and One Piece are wildly inconsistent, so it honestly just comes down to headcanon to some degree for Naruto. There's a hole in his skull too. Yes, there is. From the previous attack that Boros did on him. Remember, like, the punch to the face? He punched him so hard that the back of his head got a hole in it. So yeah, on that note, I think we can end the stream because we have been going for a very long time. And yeah, I think we probably will be heading out because it's been 2.5 hours, so I'm pretty tired. Yes, with very, very many exclamation marks. Saitama literally breaks the fourth wall. He becomes so self-aware that he unintentionally becomes the literal embodiment of a no-limit fallacy. I mean, could be. We'll see. But personally, I wouldn't really be interested in that. I'm not a fan of the whole fourth wall-breaking thing in fiction. Very long indeed. Yes, very, very long. Okay, so, yeah, I'll probably be going now. So, see ya, everybody. Hope you have a good rest of the day, / night, wherever you live. And, yeah. What's your take on Hades versus Beelzebub from Record of Ragnarok? Personally, I scale Hades higher, but Beelzebub can maybe counter him with the shields. It just depends on if the shields can block Desmos. Which, personally, I don't think they could. But, yeah. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.